And if you don't, then get the fuck out. All right, like we're America first. All right, America only right now is what we need to be focusing on, because this is the problem we have. We're sending state representatives over to Israel. All right, when our states are falling apart, and then we want to sit here and push all these other factions above us, and this is the problem that we're having. This is the divide, right? It's literally, are we going to continue with an American lifestyle, or are we just going to go into a religious cult, dictatorship of what can and cannot be done because the mob rules, right? And I think that that's just an atrocious spot to be in, and I think that we can all come together and agree. We don't have to agree on everything, right? To me, I say this all the time: 50%. You know what I mean? Let's agree on 50% of what we can grow in America. Less taxes, right? Less control, more freedoms, right? And let's just focus on getting that back, because we don't even have that anymore. The America that my parents grew up in, my great-great-great-grandfather, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, was raised in, does not exist today. We do not have the same fucking freedoms, the rights, the opportunities that our grandparents had, and it's because of this fucking uniparty. And it has nothing to do with the politics. It has to do with not assimilating to American values, letting immigration come in, right? Because when people immigrated here back in the day, they didn't come out of the fact that we're just going to go to America to become whatever African American and Iranian American, Irish American, right? Like, this is bullshit, right? You should be an American or nothing at all, right? Like, this is our problem. When we put labels in front of shit and put labels in front of that, and we label this, right, we're just creating the divide, all right? You can celebrate your culture. You can celebrate the place where you came from. I encourage that, right? But at the same time, like, it's not it's not your identity, right? Your identity is an American, right? And that's what we should all, I guess, strive to be more like, right? We can accept every race, religion, culture, doesn't matter. But if you're not going to assimilate to whatever we consider to be American values now, that's
what are American values? What is an American?
That's our first debate. What is that? To me, freedom.
What are we asking people to assimilate to?
Freedom.
Then they're free to
freedom.
Okay, then they're free to do what they want.
Yeah, within our guidelines of loving America, right? If
we don't even know how to love America. We don't even know what America is. What is an American?
American, I mean, that's a great question, right? What is an American? Okay, to me, an American is someone that...
Well, you started with a qualifier, which is to me. So there's no standard of what an American is. So what are we asking people to assimilate to?
Well, back in the day, it was freedom. Right? Like,
that's not
freedom of oppression, a freedom to live your life.
But you're oppressing them to adhere to your guidelines, so that makes no sense. What are they supposed to assimilate to? What is an American?
A freedom-loving person. There's not freedom.
These people love freedom. That's why they're here. So they're already assimilated then?
No, because they're coming in here trying to say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like,
who's trying to do that?
I mean, what is that? Not what Sharia law does, right? Come in and say,
well, that's what the right's doing right now. Not any Muslims.
How is that not any Muslims?
The right's doing it right now. Muslims don't have power in this country. They're not oppressing anybody. They're not making anybody obey anything.
Yeah, but that's the system.
The people who actually have the power right now are the right, and they're using it to impose.
The people that have
the
power
right isn't even the right.
Their form of Sharia law, which is you have to mourn Charlie a certain way. You can't say mean things. If you make fun of Trump, you'll lose your job, etc., etc. That's what's being imposed. There's no Sharia law in America.
With that, but I'm not saying.
So why are we talking about a non-existent Sharia law?
Because it's a system.
Because you're fear-mongered into thinking that you need to worry about Sharia law.
All right, so it's not even Sharia law then, right? Then we're just losing an aspect of whatever American culture is.
We're not losing it to Muslims, though.
No, we're losing it to everybody. We're losing it to the system. We don't have any...
Rance, what is the system? Can you give me a 15-second qualifier on what or who is the system?
The system is the federal government, the corporations, right? Like the people that are in charge of our daily policies, our daily life, that we have no control over. That's the system.
Have you figured out who runs them?
This is a daggone problem right here. These motherfuckers don't even know what an American is. An American is a free white person of good character that's been here for longer than 2 years. Go to ethnicamerican.org. We have all the receipts. The Act of 1790. This is why people are fucking fighting. This is why y'all need to be part of the ethnic American project.
Jam that into, let's say, any of the state or federal mandates, and if so, and if you can, who is it that put them in power to try and exert that force onto Americans?
Elected officials on both sides.
Okay, who are they funded by?
George Soros and the Koch brothers.
All right, what is George Soros?
A Jew.
He is a Jew. All of the things that you're suggesting are the infighting. There is a person right now on the ocean liner that is America that is setting fires all over the ship and drilling holes in the side of the hull. And Americans are running around and they're pointing fingers at one another and they're yelling about the fire and they're throwing one another into the flames rather than noticing the people with the drills and the torches. And I think that's Sarah's point.
Yep, nope, I can totally agree with that.
Ian, get out of my brain.
Hey, well, I did say that earlier, right? I said that.
I get into my car.
I said that the Open Society Project, right? I put a post
Get
on
out
this
of
yesterday,
my
right?
brain.
That George Soros is
And
paying
into
for
my
Hamas,
car.
all this stuff, right? That Israel is then turning around and using to start all of their fucking wars, right? Like they have a Jew that is paying for creating terrorism across the entire globe right now, all right? That we are then turning around and using one person, George Soros, right, that's creating all this terrorism across the planet, and then we're saying, oh, well, we got terrorism, we got to fight back. Where we could just fight back against George Soros, and it probably would all end.
We could literally just fight back against Israel since Bibi is committing fucking assassinations all over the globe for the last 4 decades
And
instead of
genocide.
worrying about
Yeah,
George
facts.
Soros, who's busy telling teenagers to make a poster and putting Greta on a freaking boat. I don't really care about George Soros right now. We are literally in an existential battle. My entire feed is just Zionists criticizing people who don't mourn Charlie the right way and how great of an ally he was to the Jews. This stuff is getting out of fucking hand. This is not good. And it's not Sharia law, and it's not the Mexicans, and it's not Maduro, and it's not anything else, and it's not Azerbaijan or whatever he called Azerbaijan today. It's freaking Israel.
Ironically, Maduro is also Jewish.
A little bit of Sephardic in him, yeah, but he hates it. He hates Jews.
See, great conversation. See, this is why, Sarah, this is why I follow you, because I don't know
I just
it all.
talked to Maduro the other day. He's so good.
That's freaking awesome that you talked to him. But let's definitely get into that. Let me get through some of
Wait,
these.
hang on, Sarah, was that a troll or that's a sincere comment? I'm confused.
But what? Yeah, I was in the press conference with him like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
DJ, I just want to give you something.
I have to ask you, Sarah, and look, I point to South and Central America and I say, look at all the Jews, and there are a lot of them.
There are.
I'm genuinely curious, based on what you saw in your interactions, if he was in this space right now and I said, hey, Maduro, do you think that Zionism and global Jewry is a problem? What do you think would be his rough or approximate?
He would probably go on a full rant about how they're all terrorists and Israel's. I translate his press conferences every day, and every day he calls America and Israel terrorists. Period. Zionist American imperialism. We will fight. Blah blah blah. Like he's very anti-Israel through and through. But they come from a very anti-colonial, anti-imperialist perspective. So that's where they're coming from. It's not too much about control because Jews don't have a lot of control inside of Venezuela. But he understands how they play out on the world stage. But he's also a little bit crazy too. You have to remember that.
Now, this is just off topic. It's being released that Bridget Macron will present scientific and photographic evidence in the U.S. courts.
We're getting dick pics, baby!
To prove she is a woman.
2025 is the greatest year ever!
So basically, I can't wait to hear what Candace Owens has to say about this one.
Guys, if we see a D or
if I see a strap on, that's it. That's it for
oh my
me.
God, I can't. Y'all are wild today. Okay, guys, there's so many requests. I can't believe how big this space has gotten. I really appreciate everybody for being here. I wanted to say hi to Maze, my love. How are you, love?
I am doing good. Thank you. How are you guys? Great conversation.
Super confused, Maze. Super confused. Okay.
Yeah, I
Guys.
guess I missed the news for today. As you guys know, during the day, it's kind of hard for me to really get on here. But was there something?
So let's recap for everybody. So the reason that I started this space, because y'all know I've been like infrequent, like giving spaces. My bad, y'all. Life has been lifing. But this morning I'm sitting, I'm scrolling, and all of a sudden I come on this Instagram video saying that Tyler went to Utah State, which I totally missed. And Utah State is one of the biggest hubs for CIA. So they have literally this huge CIA program at Utah State that's founded by two former CIA members.
And the 8200 unit is like right up the street, right?
Bingo. I didn't even get to that yet. I haven't even dropped that truth bomb yet. So I definitely want to hit you. No, I want to hit you with that. And then Tyler also received what's called a presidential scholarship. And presidential scholarships, I didn't know, like that's how I was able to figure out that he did go to Utah, because those are all public. So I Googled it. I'm like, well, I Yandexed it because I don't trust Google anymore, and that's a whole nother thing. So I look it up and I'm like, holy shit, this is real. This is actually real. This is really a huge CIA hub. So I put the video out, and then I just kept thinking about it, and I'm like, I need to open a space. We need to have this conversation. And then I really wanted to talk to people about the firings that we're seeing. And are we still protective of our First Amendment? Do we still hold that dear? How does that work? How do we grapple with that? How do we, I guess, make sense of it in our heads? Because if you're fighting for the First Amendment, but you're also fighting to have people fired, how does that work?
Yeah,
or shows to be canceled? And then I wanted to talk about, Rance has the best line for this. It's called Israel right now has 250 state lawmakers in Israel. United States state lawmakers, guys, are currently in Israel. And they're on this tour. It's called 50 States, One Israel, which really pisses me off because it's 50 states, one America. Period. I'm America only.
One
America
Israel
only.
to rule them all.
Yeah, so Rance comes in with his one Israel to rule them all. And I'm just very confused by the state of life. So I open up the space and now you're all caught up. I don't know if you want to hit them with the 8200 though. Do you want to hit them with the 8200, Mace?
Give me a few minutes, and yeah, we can do that after maybe go through some of the hands first, if you don't mind.
Awesome. I didn't see the hands. Thank you for reminding me because I didn't see them. Let's go to Ziad, Showtime, and then True Mag, and then I'll go back to anybody that's spoken before. Go ahead, Ziad. Welcome to space.
Thank you. I just want to say one thing real quick. The 250 that are in quote Israel, in my opinion, they're racing to get their seat in the one world government that these IOs are, putting in place, with Jerusalem as its eternal capital. And this is exactly what Trump said back in his first presidency, when he allowed them to annex the Golan Heights and move the embassy to Jerusalem, which was a taboo actually in the international politics. But he did say that statement, of Jerusalem being the eternal. I don't know how can a capital be an eternal, but the eternal capital of the Jewish state. That's I think this is how he described it. So they're setting up the one world government, and they need, before that they need to control the masses, and this is exactly what's happening now. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ziad. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I found it really funny. Rance's 50 states or to one ring to rule them all, but it's kind of shaping up that way, and it's terrifying me. Welcome to the space, Showtime. Go ahead.
Hey, I appreciate it. First, I just want to say I am a human being. I have compassion.
Oh, I have one really quick. I have breaking news. Ansarallah drone hit a hotel in southern Israel. There is an impact on the ground, and 4 IDF soldiers were killed in an IED attack in Rafah.
That was the security incident.
They're gonna attack 10 different countries in the next 24 hours. Watch.
I was gonna say the same thing, Maze. Who's gonna get bombed next?
I don't know, man, but one thing we definitely know is it's definitely Gaza. Guys, I did put something up. Somebody
And the
And I don't
West
know.
Bank. Have you guys seen what they're doing in the West Bank?
Yep. They are bombing the West Bank. They are bombing Gaza. I'm very confused by it. Hamas is not in the West Bank. It doesn't fit their narrative, and that's why it's being covered up so badly in the media. And this is their plea. And I don't know, guys. I've heard so many people say Israel's on its last legs. That's why they're going so crazy. Are they on their last legs, or is this the final push to world domination? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
They're not on their last legs. They're consolidating power. This stuff that's happening in the United States is an American-Israeli project of power consolidation. They're finding out who's with them and who's against them, and whoever's against them is getting fired, silenced, whatever, whatnot, what have you. So that's what they're doing. They're consolidating power.
That's a really good way to put it. And I think I can definitely get behind that before I say that they're on their last legs. I think their power has grown immensely.
There was an incident earlier today where two Israelis security officers were killed at the Jordan, quote-unquote, Israel crossing. A Jordanian man, truck driver, basically just did it.
It's sort of like consolidating your debts that you owe.
It's getting scary. It's getting scary. Go ahead, Showtime.
Are y'all sure they're not saving Israel for last? Are you guys sure that's not what's happening? I'm curious.
The plan. Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Yeah. Israel.
We're on our way.
Yeah.
Patriots in control.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Showtime, did you want to add anything else before I go to the next speaker?
Well, I didn't even say anything.
Yeah, you didn't get to speak. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm so sorry.
That was my fault.
We got very excited from what you said. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one is just, I saw the man get shot. It definitely was terrifying, and I didn't applaud or cheer. That isn't my first human reaction, but I have to make a distinction between, Charlie Kirk, the human being, and Charlie Kirk, the political phenomenon that's just bigger than him. And on that end, basically the way I look at it is Charlie Kirk has now become the George Floyd of white people. And the fundamental difference is, we took to the streets, and now, folks want to cancel free speech. And it's really triggered me to the point where I feel it's necessary that I come out of the closet to the public. I am a trans, black, Muslim jihadist communist that lives in China. And if anyone is triggered by the death of Charlie Kirk and the political aftermath, I just want to say I truly do not give a fuck. Fuck him and everything he stood for. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
I support your right to stand on whatever you want to say.
Can I ask what it was that he said that was so terribly upsetting?
It's basically the people rallying behind him and their agenda and the whole manipulation of his life. It's not him. It's Charlie Kirk. He had a right to speak, and yeah, it's terrible that he got assassinated. But again, there's this political phenomenon now. This worship of this godlike figure, Jesus-like Malcolm X figure that I'm just going to degrade him in front of people that want to put him up on a pedestal. So that's what it is with me.
I don't know if anybody in here is putting him on a pedestal, but okay.
Okay, let's go
I find that kind of funny that your profile says peacemaker and that you spent 25 years in China. Kind of shows where your mind is.
Yeah, and I'm trans, and I'm Muslim and a communist.
Yeah, you sound extremely confused.
Why are you such a dick?
Who?
All right, let's go to the next hand. Everybody's expressing themselves, right? People can have their views of Charlie Kirk, whatever it is. If it's good, if it's
People
bad.
are fucking crazy.
Saying he was like
Somebody
Jesus.
told somebody had the audacity to say in the Congress he would have been the 13th apostle. Get a fucking grip, dude. This is getting up to blasphemy at this point. Get a grip.
There was 12.
But no, I'm just saying though, I think that I'd still fight for their right to say whatever they want.
Literally.
Yeah, so.
Right, let's continue with hands.
About his sexuality.
Okay, let's continue with hands. Who was next? Dee Dee? I think it was, let's go to let's go to.
Dee Dee's wondering if it's too early to pop a pill right now. But
A
okay,
gummy?
so we're good. I don't. Who wants to share? I've never done that, y'all. I'm the dork that used to think that if I ever did a drug, my parents convinced me that my mom has a heart murmur, right? They convinced me that if I ever did any drugs, anything, that I would die on the spot. So, but it's looking pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go to True MAGA. Then we're gonna go to Jared. Jared, welcome up. Go ahead, True MAGA.
All right, thank you for the mic. You guys are killing it. I haven't disagree. You got me fired up today. Everything you're saying is like 100%. And that guy was super important. What just happened there, it tells the whole story. It's either that or what Santino said about Israel, and I add that with Israel plus the fact what RFK was exposing. I don't know how much you want me to go into that, but what he exposed was so huge that 2 days before Charlie got shot. Plus, I don't know. Nobody can answer this. If anybody can just give me a simple answer, is Israel connected with Big Pharma somehow? Because it seems those two things went against Charlie in my mind. Or it was what that guy just said, what he just did. There's people in college campuses that think that, okay? So you could hate what he said, but there's a lot of people that think just like him, right? And then Charlie's a good guy up there trying to do his thing, and I love what he's doing and stuff. We love what he's doing, but there's some people that don't, right? And then some college kids said, well, they have the right to not go to that meeting on college. And I'm like, well, those are the people that they have the right not to go, but they're going to be behind a tree listening as hard as they can and taping it, right? Because they want to know what he's saying. So just because you have the right not to go doesn't mean you're not going to go. This is America. So like Dee Dee's saying, everybody's got the right to speak, but you shouldn't be going to freaking colleges and preaching. I don't think it's right. So unless you got a shield around you, I mean, I wouldn't do it because guys like that, right? I mean, not that he's a bad guy. He just believes his own thing, but he thinks nobody loves him. Nobody cares about him. Nobody accepts him. Not nobody, but you know what I'm saying? The majority of people. And it's true. America is built on Christian values. And then I wasn't even going to talk about that, but Sharia law only applies to Muslims. So if you're a Muslim, then they apply Sharia law to you. So they'd have to turn us all into Muslims first. Okay, this is real. This is truth. Okay, Sharia law does not apply to people that aren't Muslim. So forget about that stuff. So the last thing I'll just say, because I don't want to take up a lot of time, is the Federalist Papers. I don't even know if I could pass a test on the Federalist Papers. Could you answer the question? Honestly, could you pass? Because the Federalist Papers go into a lot of details. And like their state constitutions give you more rights than you can imagine. Way more than our Constitution. You got to study your own state constitution. And if these kids were our founding fathers, I mean, this would have never happened to our founding fathers. They wouldn't have fallen for COVID, the mask, all that stuff. Our kids would have been different. I mean, they've taken our morals and our standards away, and we've let them do it. So I don't want to rant, but you guys are killing it today. It's the greatest space I ever heard. Thank you.
Dang, I'm honored. Thank you so much for that, True MAGA. And thank you guys all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate this space. What I'm going to say is grab a mic. My panel's full right now, but I promise, give me a little bit of time and I'll have you up here. I think that it's really important that we go back to, Sarah asked something that was really important earlier. She said, what's an American? I don't know that I can give the best definition, but I can tell you what my favorite thing about being an American is idealistically, is that we have the ability to free speak. We have that ability. We're supposed to, at least. We're supposed to. And I think that the media, I think that this government right now is hampering on that. Did anybody watch the Kash Patel address yesterday to Congress? Did anybody watch that?
But my God, wow.
My God. My God.
It's a hard listen to anything he says.
Wow. Yeah. So let's break it down a little bit. I can tell you that there weren't really any questions answered. Everything he didn't know, or, I'm going to take your events for that. I'm going to take your word for that. He didn't know much. He didn't answer anything, really. But one thing I did hear that rang in my head, and Diligent did a really awesome job highlighting this yesterday. He kept saying it because I was working and I was listening to him. I had it open the whole time. And there was one singular thing. He kept saying, guys, they're taking away your free speech. They're policing us. And it was a red and a blue conversation. They are talking about policing online activity like you would not believe. That was one thing that I took away from that. Seriously.
Because they're desperate.
Yeah, I thought they were trying to get rid of spaces. That's what I said. And some lady kicked me off the mic. She was so mad, but I'm not some lady. She kicked me off, but then she brought me back up, and she said, you're making my eye twitch. But that's what I thought it was all about. Like, freaking, they want to close down spaces. They're just hearing too much, and we can't let them do that.
I agree. I mean, anybody that doesn't know TikTok, I think it was Monday or Sunday, they just pulled the trigger on their new algorithm changes and their new terms of service. And they're completely oppressive. Anybody that doesn't know, I used to open what we call lives on TikTok, which is like our version of Spaces here, every day, every single day. I can't get any movement on TikTok. I have a lot of accounts because I got banned all the time because I like to curse. I like to tell people off, and a lot of things are censored. Like, you can't even say the word bomb on TikTok. You can't say the word gun. At one point, you actually were getting shut down for saying the word Jew on a space on TikTok, which is pretty crazy.
I'm sure that's coming back.
Yeah, it's all gone. Like, it's 100% worse now. I jumped onto a TikTok live. I shit you not, and I timed it because I was like, I know I'm going to lose an account. Let me time. I actually recorded it. 2 minutes and 31 seconds, I lost an account. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, and Dee, you saw earlier this week who made announcements of their intent to purchase TikTok, right, for the U.S.?
Hit him with the Ian. Go for it.
Well, no, I mean, it's Oracle, who at the top, Larry Ellison, yes, he's Jewish. His son, for what it's worth, David Ellison, is the head of Skydance Films, which purchased Paramount and is now looking to purchase Warner Brothers, which would make Skydance overseeing something like 25 to 33% of all media in the United States under, yes, again, a Jew, along with Silver Lake and Andreessen Horowitz, which at the top of that is also, yes, you guessed it, the same group of people. And so the only social media platform that was not under the thumb of this group of people, and people will say, oh, well, what about X, right? Because Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, all those are very obvious. X, obviously Elon Musk's kids with multiple Jewish women. He also has Nikita Bier, I think is the guy's name, or Nika Bier, who's Jewish, and he's the head of product for X, which oversees AI, and Grok, right? So all social media essentially going under the thumb of this same group of people that are pushing out simultaneously their globalized standards around speech and what is permittable, and all of it aligns back to the usual suspects, the ADL, and all this other nonsensical reality. So if the U.S. government can't ban TikTok, well, then they're just going to force it to be sold to the same group of people that otherwise get to tell us what we are and aren't allowed to talk about. So it's all so infuriating. It's all so insufferable. It's the exact same patterns across the mainstream media, across Hollywood, and on and on and
exactly.
on.
To piggyback off Ian, think about what Bibi has been complaining about, and the Israelis have been complaining about for almost a year. It's the loss of the Zoomers. That's why they went after TikTok, and that's why they were trying to influence TPUSA so much. They're trying to cover every base they can of the Zoomers. This consolidation of power, they're taking over every way we communicate. They have injected so much money into the social media platforms to get them to boost Israelis and police the rest of us. Like, pretty soon, like, we won't really have voices very much.
But isn't that the funny part, Sarah? Because, I mean, look, not too long ago, about a year ago, there was a very small pocket in which I could say some of these things, and people are like, yeah, I think that guy's making sense. Go back 2 or 3 years, and it was a handful of lunatics and me in a circle in a dark alleyway talking about this stuff. Everybody else presumed that I was a complete madman. And now here we are, and people are starting to notice at an ever increasing pace. And the irony of it is, as more and more people wake up, the behavior of the lunatics in control is not to immediately sell off their controlling stakes so that they can say, what are you talking about? We don't control anything. Instead, they're just grabbing more power. They're grabbing more media channels. They're grabbing, like you said, Turning Point USA, which now has Ben Shapiro leading the charge. It's like in their attempt to cover everything up, all they're doing is further exhibiting the very accusations that people like myself would be making, and therefore more and more and more people awaken to it. So I've said for a long time, the game is over. We have won. And when I say we, I mean the truth seekers of the world, because their options are either to let us run rampant and continue telling people what's going on, or to say we no longer get a voice, at which point all of the other people that will notice that we're silenced for trying to talk about these things will scratch their head and say, you know, if I can talk about anything but that issue, doesn't it validate the very point that guy's trying to make? And so we are going to win. The question is just, what's the path forward going to look like? And I just ask everybody every single day to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep doing the things that we're doing. And as long as we do them, we're ultimately going to win, regardless of what that path to get there looks like.
I agree.
Ian, how are we going to win? That's what I'm asking. How do you think we're going to win, Ian?
Inevitably, the victory is in the awareness to the problem, because once you have a critical mass of people that are in opposition to it, the ruse is over. Their covert control of everyone's mind ends. Right, so it's like Neo in the end of the Matrix, where he says, "I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I'm going to tell the world what is happening, and then it's their choice to decide where it goes." And that's the reality. Once people realize that they are literally slaves to a system of academia, of media, of politicians, where your past, your present, and if they continue control, your future is completely controlled by this one group of people, well, then they can do whatever they want with us. Once we realize that that's the game, then it's now in our hands to take control, right? So whether that looks like something that's kinetic and violent, which is not what I advocate for at all, or instead, if we play out our part like the Founding Fathers, we write the quote-unquote Federalist Papers that were just referenced. Yes, oh, by the way, they did that via anonymous handles and pseudonyms, let's call it, right? So if we continue just waking more and more and more people up to it, then ultimately we can take back control in a democratic fashion. And if they will not allow for that, well, then something more dramatic has to take place. But either way results in the same output. The only question is, what's the timeline to get there? And based on the psychopathy of the people that have control, how violent or dangerous does it have to become? And I hope that it's not violent. I hope it's not dangerous. And I hope the people that do have this tyrannical control can recognize that if they do not start at, let's say, at least acknowledging the issue, well, then they're not only going to put themselves, but unfortunately probably global Jewry at some kind of threat or harm's way, which is not what I want. I want a peaceful conversation about this thing so that we can all recognize that it's not working, it's not going the right direction, and that advocating against slavery and tyranny does not make me a terrorist. It actually makes me a freedom fighter. The people that are at the top that are suggesting that I shouldn't have a voice to awaken people to these realities, they are in fact the terrorists. So all we're trying to do is a righteous, let's say, benevolent tomorrow, and ultimately people will get behind that message. White, black, man, woman, Christian, Muslim. And we all need to stand together, and that includes, for what it's worth, Jews that are willing to call out this problem.
Okay, I ask you this question. Let's say our population in the United States finally rose up, said we had enough, and we went to where you're saying we've had enough, we want representation, and we really stood up. What do you think our government would do?
Well, they'll one of two things. Either they will abide by a democratic process and the voting, let's say, booths will have obvious turnout for individuals that are willing to stand against this machine. And you've got guys like Dr. Michael Rechtenwald with his As a PAC program. They're looking to fund candidates that are directly in opposition to Zionism. Right? So either that process can play out and people can go, and I would advocate for a multi-million person march on the capital of Washington, D.C., in all of the various Western European nations. The people should ultimately get in the streets and peacefully protest and demand an end to this. If the democratic process does not allow for the inevitable to then take shape, well, then we are under a totalitarian regime that is not only oppressive, but that is suppressive, and that is radically violent, right? Because it is violence to say we are going to upend any and all of the democratic processes and just grab absolute control forever. That is tyranny. That is violence, right? And so then you together. But I'm not going to ever advocate for those things because there's legal, righteous, verbal, spiritual paths that we can take before any of that stuff has to prospectively come down the line.
I'll say this to anybody in here that a violent revolution or anything like that, the last thing you want to do is be violent. The last thing you want to do is raise arms against these guys who they will not have pity at all.
Yeah, and they'll use the violence to justify further tyranny, right? They will say you no longer get a firearm, you no longer get a voice, you no longer get a social media platform, you no longer get anything. You get to sit in your box and eat your crickets, and you get to live your life the way that we see fit. Take the vaccines that we demand you take, and if you don't, well, then we're just going to off you because you're a threat to the system. Right, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to lull everybody into this passive state if we allow it. But if it's dead, we just stand up. Then we will reject and ultimately reverse this system. Or at least that's my belief and hope.
Ian, can I ask you something? You talk about you standing up and marching and all of that. We did that on January 6th. And what happened? It got co-opted and the feds were there. I mean, the same thing. What makes you think it wouldn't happen again? I'm just curious what your thoughts on that.
No, and then have to drop after this. Unfortunately, I'll try and come back in a little bit, Sarah. But you're exactly right. And think about it. They use that very demonstration to handcuff the very people that wanted to go out and to productively, positively protest. And there's no part of me that doesn't believe that there weren't federal provocateurs that were in the midst of that thing, whatever we want to label it. Right, and so they used that to further their control, to further their manipulation. Within an hour of that taking place, of the let's say the moving inside of the Capitol building, right? You had the insurrection commentators all across everything on social media, on the mainstream media, because it was orchestrated. They were handed out. Here's your script. We are watching, just like Shakespeare, the world is a stage. We are watching the play, and the people orchestrating it are them. They're the ones that control everything. And so, yes, we do need something that's going to look like January 6th, but it needs to be led by sincere, authentic people. It cannot be co-opted. And that's why we'll always advocate for peacefulness, for righteousness, for morality, never to violate any of the rules. Because the moment that we do, we turn over the ability to say that we're doing this purely in good faith. And I think we also start following very, very, let's say, scrupulous individuals that probably don't have our best in mind.
Those of us who went there on January 6th went there with that in mind. It was very, very peaceful. I'm grateful that I wasn't up in the front, because had I been up in the front and the cops opened the doors, I might have gone in. Not to cause a disruption, just because they're opening the doors. I've never been in here before. It could have totally happened to me. I'm so grateful it didn't. But also, Mud, I know that you had your hand up first, so you go ahead. But I just wanted to tell you, Mud, that, your comments about Nick, I don't think that's an excuse, because he has a platform, and if he's gotten the call or he's scared about his life, then he needs to shut his mic off and go off into the woods, because there are other people that are standing up and being truthful. You got Tucker that's is telling everything that's been in the text message and the things that Charlie was sharing with him. You have Candace Owens, who's fearless. They're willing to risk their lives. You even have what's her name, Megyn Kelly, even saying things. So to me, and then especially when he espouts his faith, an honest broker or get out of the game. That's all. Go ahead, Mud. I'm so.
Oh, before Mud goes, I have some breaking news. Macron says snapback sanctions against Iran are a done deal and will be implemented regardless of the Iran IAEA agreement that was signed in Cairo.
Timing is everything.
Holy cow. Guys, I'm sorry, I had to take a phone call. I want to get through some of the people that haven't spoken yet, and I want to get to somebody that hasn't really spoken a lot. Let me go to follow really quickly, and then we're going to go to... Oh, sorry.
Jared,
That's exactly what I was going
Jared, because Jared, he's been waiting so patiently.
He really has. He always does. Jared, I love you. Go ahead, Fulu.
I just want to share something. You got me going down a rabbit hole a little bit, Dee Dee. When you were talking about houses, I know this kind of goes, want to like derail this, but when you were talking about housing and I just started pulling up a house across the street from me, right? That is either BlackRock or Blackstone. I know that they are one of the ones that got it. There's like 5 or 6 in my neighborhood. And what I thought was interesting, comparing it to my house and my neighbors, they list their houses as a HOA, and they don't have an HOA in my subdivision. There's none.
Whoa.
So I'm guessing they do the HOA probably as like, because they have their own HOA for BlackRock or whatever these subsidiary companies are for maintenance and things like that. But here's what's really crazy. On their houses that they're renting, which is the rental is more than my house payment, they don't have square feet listed, and their cost per square foot is like half of what mine is. So you go to taxes, and then I have to wonder, are all these companies that are buying up these properties and rental properties getting breaks on all their tax purposes? Because if their square footage of the house is like less than, almost 50% of what mine is, that means they're paying 50% less taxes on the properties.
Bingo. Bingo.
That's a rabbit hole to think about. But now I know some of the houses in my subdivision that are rental, so I'm gonna have to look that up and compare, because it's all on Zillow. All the information's out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. So you
need to run that by me one more time, just slow.
Yeah. So
can you run that by me
let's
again?
start off with this. So BlackRock, Blackstone own a lot of building companies. These building companies have been going in to developments. They're getting land, or they're demolishing existing buildings that maybe aren't up to speed for perhaps the location that they think that they can get a better penny. Cool. Then what they're doing is they're building 2 model homes on this land. And then they're letting the model homes sit for a year. And then in a year's time, what they're going to do is they're going to transfer it to a subsidiary, a company that they own. Okay. And it's going to be a sale. So it's going to look on paper that these model homes were sold for $700,000. I'm just throwing out numbers, guys. $700,000. Okay. When really, in reality, that area, that location, that house build is probably worth $500,000. But now they've got a comp, okay? And now this comp is going to be used to get other people in. And from there, when they start to get the interest into those homes, they find out that they're not owning the land. They're buying the houses. You're going to own nothing, or not buying the houses, you're renting the houses. Then they can change to a rental property. You will own nothing and be happy. So what Falou just went down the rabbit hole, and I mentioned that earlier, he started looking up homes in his area, what are being bought. If I had to guess, probably Blackstone is buying it, probably not BlackRock, because they've been very, very cognizant of that.
Blackstone is more residential, right?
Correct. It's literally owned by them. It's the exact same ownership, right? But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that's really, really there's no laws against it. There's no laws us out and pricing us out. The model that they're pushing forward, a renter's model. They're not pushing forward a first-time home buyer's model. And what's the American dream, guys? To buy the first home. What's the biggest generational wealth that you can accumulate?
They literally call the program build to rent, Dee Dee. Build to rent is literally what the programs are called.
Oh, Greg's here. Hold on, let me get Greg up here.
Think this real quick too. I'm looking at the comparisons, right? So this house that I know the guy that sold it, because, and I know the family that left, because the elderly man had he almost died in the house for a week. He actually fell down and was almost dead for like 4 days. So that's why they sold it to this company. But the house is almost 1,000 square feet more than mine, 1 more bedroom, and I am paying, mine is estimated at being $241 a square foot. Their house is $186 a square foot. So taxes, everything else is almost half of what mine would be. Theirs is an HOA from that company and mine is not. So I can't even imagine the rabbit hole of kickbacks and stuff that they're probably getting based on a square footage. Like the square footage of, if they were to sell that, I bet you that would all change. If they were to sell that to somebody else and not be a part of that corporation, I bet you that square footage cost per square foot would go up like 100%.
Absolutely. So, and that's a big finance thing that they're doing. But I want to try to switch gears a little bit, guys. Repost the space. We have Greg Stoker with us, American veteran who is currently on the veteran ship. If you don't know, on the veteran ship on its way to Gaza. Greg, how you doing, brother?
All right, we're just off the coast of Sicily. We finally linked up with the Italian fleet, and we're moving to link up with the Greek fleet, which will take a few more days. So I think we're still looking at about 12 days out from being confronted by the Israeli Navy. About 150 miles off the coast of Gaza in international waters. So yeah, this is taking a lot longer than people thought, and I can explain why if you're kind of interested. One of the reasons we went with private sailing vessels, because we're mostly under sail power, is because we don't require, private vessels don't require, commercial licenses or fishing licenses. And, a lot of these commercial ships are bigger, they have more powerful motors, they go faster. But there's been a campaign of bureaucratic warfare waged against the flotilla in Barcelona. The Israeli government and consulate was pressuring the Spanish government to shut down the harbor for code restrictions and violations. They were trying to pull captains' credentials. They were trying to waive and veto insurance policies for the boats. They were also attempting to pull flags, pressure governments to pull flags from different ships. And without a country flag, you can't sail in international waters without being interdicted by international police forces. But going with private sailing vessels actually makes this a lot harder to do because you don't need, again, the same licenses you need for larger vessels. So we can't do video, but I'm looking at it about 30 ships. The entire thing, we're probably going to have about 50. Not all those are going to make it. But yeah, we are leaving for the final leg tomorrow after the bureaucratic warfare against the flotilla failed. So now we can look forward to intensive psychological operations we're going to jail and terror dungeons for long periods of time now to deter other activists for attempting the same thing, which is to establish a humanitarian corridor into Gaza in compliance with international humanitarian and maritime law. We're expecting a lot going forward. So basically, the reason that the Israeli propaganda machine hasn't really touched this is because they hope that, a bunch of, very passionate but inexperienced humanitarian activists would try a large-scale naval operation and it would collapse and implode on itself and they wouldn't even have to deal with it. I will say that, a couple times that came close to happening. As someone with a background in military logistics, I kind of saw that as a real possibility, but now we've passed the threat zone for that, and now we're actually on our way, and it's going to happen one way or another.
Thank you so much for that. Any updates that you wanted to give us on any of the other flotilla ships? How's the mood on the veteran ship? I don't know if you... Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. We're about 2 weeks behind schedule, which is actually kind of better than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of expecting a worse administrative and logistical situation, and of course, it's been very frustrating. But yeah, we kind of expected going into this because, we're not a military organization. We're a humanitarian mission, a free association of, humanitarian efforts and activists doing the work our government should be doing. So we don't have any infrastructure. We don't have a tax base with which to allocate to large-scale naval contingency operations. And I don't know, somehow we made it work in 2 months. So the sailing season is over, so the weather's going to be pretty rough going forward. But yeah, this all came together in about 2 months, and we're really excited to get the show on the road and get this done. In terms of the mood, everyone's like, okay, we're sick of laying at anchor. The Italians are pissed because they've been having to wait for us at anchor for 3 to 4 days, so they have cabin fever. Everyone's just ready to go and get this over with one way or another. So we're going to sail, and and then the Zionists are going to do whatever they do, and then the world and the global forum can decide for themselves what's right and what's wrong. So in the meantime, we do appreciate your support, and whatever parallel actions you can do in your own countries in support of this would be much appreciated. We don't need money, we need political pressure. So, yeah.
Can you give us some suggestions, Greg, that you think would be conducive?
Okay, so we all know, of course, not everybody here is a citizen of the U.S. empire, but I'm going to just use this, what I'm asking people to do in the U.S., that you do as well, because there's delegates from 44 different countries. So odds are that you're in a country that sent a delegation. So, as you can know, some of you may know that currently there is an initiative from the Israeli Ministry of Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, led by Minister Gideon Sa'ar, which basically is called, the initiative is called 50 States, One Israel. Of course, there are 50 states in the United States. There are 250 U.S. representatives, from senators to congressmen to state representatives. 5 from each state, I think was the number, 250 in total. If my math checks out, I think it does, are in Israel right now being lobbied actively by the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs to initiate anti-BDS legislation in their respective state legislatures. So they literally flew out 250 of our elected representatives to work on anti-BDS strategy, anti-BDS legislation. And this comes at a time where we are trying to sail and deliver vital aid to a population undergoing an annihilation or an extinction event now with the onslaught that's happening in Gaza City. So what you can do is basically, as voters, even though, I'm a little too left to believe that voting actually works, but you can call and pressure your local representatives, voice your displeasure that they are doing this, why they are leaving their constituencies to work on behalf of a foreign nation and tell Americans what they can and cannot buy with their own money that they earn through their labor, and demand safe passage for the flotilla. But any kind of pressure, political pressure, domestic pressure, cultural pressure, that you can put on your local representatives would be very helpful, because basically what this flotilla is, it's more symbolic than anything else. Again, we have small private sailing vessels, about 50 of them. There are a few large, like almost barely functional ancient yachts that are carrying diesel and water and a lot more aid than the private sailing boats, but I'm on a 14-meter ship. We've got not a lot of aid. So we this is mostly symbolic, and it's a opportunity for everybody back home to apply pressure in support of what we're trying to do. So that involves calling local representatives, doing local actions within your own community, organizing for this, and educating people. Like, one of the reasons we came up with the vet boat idea was because we wanted to use our kind of protected status within our grotesquely militarized society as veterans to call people out and show them that, whatever violence we do overseas is almost immediately implemented back home to control our own population. So if we accept the premise that fascism is on the rise here, well, that's really being demonstrated in Palestine. And whatever our government is willing to do to Palestinians, keep saying this like a refrain, they're willing to do to you. I think I hopped on and you guys were talking about Blackstone. Well, that's a great example. And I've been using real estate and real estate interests to really try to activate Americans to care about U.S. foreign policy, because it's super easy to connect the two. Like, AIPAC is not by any stretch of the imagination the most powerful lobby or corporate bulwark in the U.S. economy and political system. It's the landlord real estate lobby. They also are a bipartisan lobbying group, and the same interests like Blackstone that bought up all the single family homes during COVID, all the single family homes and property that burned down in Altadena and during the California wildfires are the same ones who are pushing for redevelopment and reconstruction contracts in the Gaza Strip. So the same people who have determined and lobbied your politicians that you should never own a home, that you should rent till you die, that you should be imprisoned if you're homeless, are the same ones who have determined that every person in the Gaza Strip needs to be annihilated so that they could make the real estate investment of the generation. Gaza Lago, the new Dubai, with all of its untapped natural gas reserves in the Marine Basin. So, yeah, these things are all connected, and we just want to use this flotilla as an information operation to really get people involved and to stop saying stupid things like, I can't care about Palestine, I can't afford to be a single issue voter. Yeah, actually, you know what? It is a single issue. It's called racialized capitalism and imperialism and colonialism, which also impacts each and every one of you. So we definitely see Palestine as the front line of that, and a really easy, because it's not a complicated issue at all. It's actually very simple. Really easy way to teach people about our declining government and economic system as well. And we encourage everybody to get involved and to organize in your own communities and use this flotilla as an opportunity to, educate people, agitate people, and then organize around it. So, thanks.
Thank you so much for that, guys. Greg is usually with us for a very, very small period of time. I also wanted to welcome Ryan Matta. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to absolutely get to Ryan. He's done an amazing analysis of what's gone on with Charlie Kirk. So I want to stick to the questions for Greg. Anybody that's not aware, there's a flotilla currently on its way en route to Gaza. Greg is on the boat. He's on the boat with American veterans right now. He is one of 8. Go ahead, Santino.
Nice to meet you, Greg. I want to just release something's been released right now. 1 second here, it's just glitching. Charlie Kirk's widow Erica is unanimously named Turning Point's USA CEO at his what the founder wanted. I'm just reading it now. They unanimously elected her in at 36 years old, the head of the chair of the board. The group has announced this morning. So that's breaking right now.
Wait till you see who the next guy that she's with is. That's going to be very telling if she gets set up with somebody interesting in the next year or two.
Not to deviate from the topic, but that just broke right now. It showed up on the top of my phone.
I mean, look, the Charlie Kirk assassination has a lot of bearing on the flotilla itself, and especially the U.S. passport holders, not just on the veterans boat, but in the U.S. delegation itself. They basically use, no matter what you think of it, this assassination of Charlie Kirk as a cudgel to crack down on any type of political speech that the powers that be don't like, right? There's been some weird canonization and revisionist history of Charlie Kirk, and we're concerned because martyrdom, sacralizes violence. So every violent movement needs a martyr. It's kind of like the lifeblood of these things. Anyone who doesn't show sympathy towards the martyr or empathy towards the martyr is an enemy, not worthy of compassion. And they've determined that is the political left. As a leftist, I hate the fact that we're lumped in with the Democratic Party. So this actually raises the threat assessment for the flotilla, because now every left action, and of course this is not a left act, there's plenty of conservative people on the flotilla, especially Americans who just have a very baseline, hey, let's stop, murdering children with our tax dollars. This is very much seen, though, as a left-wing action. And they just classified Antifa as a terrorist organization, and obviously calling Antifa an organization is patently absurd, but it's just a way to crack down on any sort of dissent or free speech and deem as terrorism any kind of policy or political action that challenges the state, because now the state gets to determine what type of violence is acceptable and what type of violence is not. And so we think that they're going to use their narrative as we get closer to Gaza, and they're lobbied and pushed harder and harder by the Israeli government to label this what we're doing as an act of violence, as an act of terrorism, of giving aid and comfort to the enemy, Hamas, absolutely absurd. But yeah, so we've been watching the Charlie Kirk, the unfolding Charlie Kirk story with some amount of anxiety, because it just makes everybody a lot less safe.
Could not agree with you more, Greg. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for the light that you're shedding on this, guys. Whether you are, 1 second, yeah. Whether you are pro-Palestine, whether you are not pro-Palestine, I'm not gonna push there, but I'm gonna push you that if you're in America, you better be pro-American, and you better be pro-us. The fact that we have 250 state lawmakers in Israel at this time discussing all of the ways that they can repress us, American citizens, which I have absolutely every freaking right in this country to spend my money, which I owned and is taxed any which way I want, is an absurdity. If you're not standing up for that, you are insane. If you think that it's okay that your lawmaker, your state lawmaker is over there, go move there. Go live there. You're shelling so hard for them. Become them. You should not be us. Because in this country, we the people, for the people, by the people. And I think Greg definitely pivoted also really awesomely to the Charlie Kirk conversation. Greg, I don't know if you know who Ryan Mata is. He's amazing.
I don't, but
yeah, amazing.
Good to connect.
Yeah, definitely made the connection. He is amazing. Ryan, I don't know if you know who Greg is. He's amazing. Two amazing people. Well, the entire panel is really amazing. But what I want to say here is Ryan did a crazy in-depth analysis. Ryan, I don't even know. Have you slept? Of what's gone on with the Charlie Kirk assassination, and nothing that we're seeing in the news is what is correct. Nothing is real. I definitely want you to hear this, Greg, because I think your mind's going to be blown.
Yeah, I actually have more time than I usually do. So.
Oh, awesome! Go ahead, Ryan, and thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Maze, for asking Ryan to come. Welcome, Ryan. Oh shit! Can you all hear me?
I think you might. Oh, you guys hear me? Sorry. I don't know. I think my mic. I want to give a big shout out to Dean. Thank you for having me, and Maze again. Thank you for inviting me. Always, Maze is the best at getting me into these spaces when it's the most important. And last night, I've been on this story since pretty much the second that it happened, because I got really lucky when this first went down, because I was getting ready to get on a flight. So my phone, and my dad doesn't have Twitter, so my dad's the one who called me within like literally 4 minutes of this happening. My dad goes, Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. I think he's dead. And I'm like, what? And I get on Twitter. He doesn't have Twitter. So as I'm getting ready to get on this plane, I'm trying to download all these videos, which just so happen to be a majority of the original videos. When you start going through and you're trying to analyze this evidence, after a video's been uploaded to Twitter, re-downloaded, uploaded again, it starts to get blurry, pixelated, so you don't have access to, like, it's kind of hard for you to determine, was that guy giving hand signals? Was this guy doing this? So there was a lot of confusion in there, and I just kind of started out by like, hey guys, I got a lot of these original videos. Let me kind of show you what I'm seeing, because I don't think some of the things that you think you're seeing, because I got multiple angles of it, are it. So it kind of like sucked me into this in the very beginning. So I've been like relentlessly following this, and that has allowed me to accumulate over 100 million impressions on X over the last 7 days. I believe that I'm probably the #1 highest viewed most X account on reporting on the Charlie Kirk assassination. If I just had to take a guess, I mean, I've reached out to Ian Carroll on a few of these huge accounts and sent them my stats, and like, holy fuck, dude, like I don't even do that on like my best week. So we've got a lot of eyeballs on this content, and I've seen, not only I've seen every, and I know exactly what happened, but what this has done, because of the attention I've got, is it got everybody that's out there doing boots on the ground journalism. They're all contacting me and like, hey Ryan, I got this, check this out. So like, it's not like I'm having to do this research. A majority of the shit that I've actually been reporting on has just been in the amazing American patriots all coming together. It's you guys out there that have put these pieces together, and that's where I led into this conversation with this gentleman named Blake Bernard. I don't want to mistake his name. I'll put it in the, maybe Maze can I'll grab the video and I'll put it up here in the nest so we can give Blake proper credit for this. So this Blake kid sends me a DM, and he looks like he's some like UFC fighter. Yeah, thank you. He looks like there's some type of UFC fighter in this, and he just caught my attention for a minute. And the first thing he said to me is like, I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to willing to offer somebody $10,000. And I go, I just assume like, oh man, is this guy like a UFC fighter or somebody famous? So it like caught my attention, and it made me start to listen to what this kid was telling me.
And he goes, check this video out, dude. He goes, I went back to the university and I found the video. So remember when they showed the FBI gives us this video, or the news gives us this video, and it's this kid on the roof. After he's taken the shot, it's him running to the edge of the roof, and then he kind of drops this bag down or something down. Somebody's got their mic open. It's coming in through the speakers. Crypto something? Got an open mic, bro? And you guys.
I just muted Right, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So they give us this video. Now, this video that I'm telling you was also published. The FBI's morons, right? They published this on their official FBI YouTube channel. So if you go over to the FBI YouTube channel right now, you'll see this video of this rooftop, and it's like the surveillance footage of the Charlie Kirk assassination, right? So it's clearly timestamped. Charlie Kirk gets shot at 12:23 and probably 31 milliseconds, and these times are important. Now, with that video, what they do is they start it as the kid is sprinting. So, and how we know this is because he's sprinting, and then on the inside of the cafeteria where they were filming, remember the very first video they put out, and it was of the people inside the university, and they're looking out that window, and you can see that little black subject is barely running across the roof line over there, okay? That was the shooter that they claim was running. So then in that video, you can actually see the crowd of people standing outside watching Charlie Kirk, and he gets shot, and then the crowd all of a sudden like crouches down. Like, it's really blurry, but you can at least see the crowd crouching down, and you can see the kid running across the roof. So then I go, okay, let me go outside to the outside angle, and let me watch how that crowd reacts to Charlie Kirk getting shot. So you hear the bang, and I go 1,000, 2, 1,000. By 3, 1,000, the crowd is crouching down, okay? So what that tells me is that the shooter is on that roof. He takes the shot, and he is in a full sprint running 3 seconds later allegedly with this gun, because you see he's running, and if you put the video in slow motion, you can see the crowd starts to slowly crouch down. So you mean to tell me that this sniper's on the roof, he takes this shot at Charlie Kirk, and before the people on the ground that are in the crowd even realize that Charlie Kirk has been hit and they need to go, oh fuck, and they all like immediately drop down, that this shooter took that shot, gets up, grabs his rifle, and is in a full-on sprint. And then if you go back to the FBI's video, he's in the sprint, he's already in the sprint, and he's running, and he jumps off the roof. Well, what the FBI didn't fucking realize is they're fucking idiots, because if you zoom it, before they start to zoom in, you can see the prone position. You could see the position. So if they would have given us that video from 4 seconds earlier, that kid would have been laying down on the roof, rifle in hand, and you would have seen the muzzle flashing him take that shot. So we actually know that the FBI 100% has one video, allegedly would have one video. If that kid was laying there and he took that shot, why did they choose to physically release it 3 seconds after that? 3 seconds after he would have been laying on there taking that shot? No way. Charlie Kirk wasn't in the scene. You can't say that it was a reason because it was graphic or whatever. They fucked up and didn't realize it. Somebody was going to go back and do research and realize that that camera that they released showed actually the rooftop. You could physically see the rooftop of where that shooter would have been laying. And then you can tell that he was in a full-on sprint. Now let's go back to all the other bullshit they tell us. Number one, they told us that he was originally in a teasing unit for...
Oh! No!
Is it spot? Yeah, it's breaking up bad. Hey Ryan, whatever you just said, those last 2 sentences, repeat them again, because you rugged really bad. That was a really important spot.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I should be coming back. I disconnect. So he releases this video.
Damn it!
It's still really bad, Ryan. Hold on, let's give it a second.
One second, get my
Come on.
Yeah, Ryan, I think in order for it's rugged really bad.
That's that. We're at that campus 8:20.
What the hell? Get some service, Ryan.
Ryan, can you hear us? I want him to keep going.
Oh!
Wearing a plain t-shirt, white colored shorts, and a black hat with a white logo, and a light colored shoes. This is nearly 4 hours of shooting, and this is in the New York Times reporting, right? So then it goes from 8:29 to 9:57. They seen Robinson is seen after the neighborhood and stuck in a room shirt. 97. So they say from 8:29 to 9. I'm here.
Ryan, can you hear me?
You have got to get better
Yeah,
service,
Ryan
Ryan.
can hear us. I'm gonna move him down. Oh my god, I hate to remove him.
No, don't do it while he's talking. Okay. Well, Brian, we couldn't hear you, and we want to hear every single word. Bring him back up, and I think
I sent him a request, Mace.
I don't know. I hope he sees
Here we
it.
go.
Here he is.
He's back. Ryan, can you
so
hear us?
fucking weird. Why the fuck do I keep getting cut off of this thing? My phone is acting so fucking weird. Like, I'll be trying to like type, and all of a sudden my phone will freeze for like 45 seconds, and then all of a sudden like it'll like glitch up, and then it'll start like, and it'll put out all the words that I was trying to type, everything. I'm getting
Ryan,
in
did you update your iOS?
No, I don't think I have in the last recently. Should I do that?
Yes, wait, but hold on really quickly. Can I just tell you something? Ever since you came on, my fucking hair on the back of my skin is like, my neck is, my husband texts me. I'm like, all right, I can ignore him for a second. You know, we're married 16 years. He's going to forgive me. And then all of a sudden the chat opens up to the husband's text, and it just starts typing. Gibberish, but it just starts typing. Ever since you joined the panel, I don't know whether because the room's gotten really big or what, but maybe we're getting attacked. I don't know what it is, but we missed a big portion and he just fell off. That is fucking weird.
Yeah, we need him to go back to the morning. Like he got to like 9 a.m. We didn't hear anything starting from 8.
I just sent him a request. You know that I've been seeing the same thing happen with my phone, and especially that last app, not the update to the iOS. There was one small update, and then you can introduce the new software, the one that I had on the 17. And I'm telling you something. Ever since that happened, everybody's phones are glitching. Everything. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Can I say something? He said something that was really important before he comes back up. And if we have a minute after that, I'm going to go to Jared, who's been so patient. But really quickly, guys, you know what's really crazy? My account, I've been posting. I've only been really hard on here for the past, I don't know, end of May. And my account, my views get like very, very little, very, very little. I'm realizing though, with anything Charlie Kirk and anything, honestly, it's not even anything Charlie Kirk, anything that used to get suppressed really bad is getting pushed. And I'm worried about that. And here's why. Are they trying to data farm us right now? That's what's in my head. It's like, all right, I've been a nothing account. I'm still a nothing account. But why is my stuff kind of getting pushed? Are they data pulling everything, all the comments? Are they trying to get this? Greg, I saw you on mic. Go in, brother.
Oh, yeah. No, that's something that they have been doing for a while. You know, when I first started, before I got suppressed on the Palestine and ICE stuff, yeah, I got pushed real far, further than anybody else. And I've never had an account taken away. I've never had any sort of like strikes or marks against me. And we suspect, coming from like the military intelligence world, it's like that's the kind of stuff we would do as well. You know, we don't want certain individuals to feel like they're being targeted, for collection and associates and other people who share the same sentiments going forward. Like, this is not like a crazy conspiracy thing. It's literally part of signal intelligence doctrine. So, we're all going on a list. Because fascists love their lists, and so now that the U.S. government or ICE has signed a contract with Paragon Solutions, the Israeli spyware company for their graphite technology, it's just really opening the door for a whole new era of national security and surveillance, politically motivated this time, to target people who do not agree with the state, who gets to decide which type of speech is hate speech, free speech, what type of violence is acceptable, not acceptable. And one of the main inroads to creating these massive databases of potential political dissidents is social media, like who you follow, what you post, what accounts you engage with. So this is the social media, and of course Meta and Google and X works with the U.S. government and gives them access that we generally wouldn't want them to have access to. Yeah, we're kind of like doing their job for them in a way. So the social media is the new front of like signal intelligence collection. Because they're lazy and stupid and they really don't know how else to do it. Plus it's easy.
So Greg, you probably missed the Kash Patel hearing yesterday. And I'm going to go to you, Jared. I swear to God. But yesterday, the biggest thing, he couldn't answer a damn question to save his life. But the one thing he kept saying, Greg, was the internet. The internet. We need to be policing the internet. Right and left side of the aisle, both, clapping for it. Clapping for literally telling us that they're going to start policing our words and watching us. It's the Gideon bullshit happening in real time. And whether you're Republican or Democrat, Independent, they were just clapping for it. They were eating this shit up.
Well,
eating this shit up.
Yeah, the Democratic and Republican Party both serve capital interests. So they'll never really disagree when it comes to funding the police.
Sure, it's just capital interest. You seem afraid to mention a certain group.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we could talk about the Zog theory, but it's not complete. So. Yeah, I think that's a red herring that basically makes people not really understand how our political system is captured by corporate and oligarchic interests that are sometimes separate from the Israeli state. But obviously that's a big part of it as well.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Jared. I'm so thankful that you have this much patience for me. Thank you so much, brother.
Everybody else is waiting. No problem. Thank you so much for the space. So real quick, I want to align with anybody that supports Palestine, but I don't support Antifa. I do think Antifa is a terrorist group. I think BLM is a terrorist group. I think the worst thing you can do for the pro-Palestine movement is to associate with Antifa and BLM. Okay, just want to get that out there. But congratulations to you for doing what you're doing. I applaud you for being in the flotilla. That's awesome. I don't know if anybody had a chance to hear Truth Teller's space last night. Did anybody hear that?
I didn't. I go for it though.
Okay. I heard the craziest thing, and I want more information because I could not stay up late to listen to it. Truth Teller was interviewing an AI called Ava, and this AI was spilling the tea on Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and the whole TPUSA thing. And according to this Ava AI, Charlie Kirk was introduced to Erica by Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, the things this thing was saying, first of all, his first...
AI is Tyler's. That's Tyler's
Really
AI.
quickly, there's a difference here. I just want to kind of really say this because it's important right now with the information war that we're going through. That AI admittedly was giving false information, 30%, 30-70, and Truth Teller called it out. He's the one that asked it that because, so not to say that it's not true. Or
I don't know.
It could be on the 30% or the 70, but just do your due diligence.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him, but I just wanted to say that.
Well, yeah,
anyway, Ryan's back next too.
I reached out to Tyler, and I kind of grilled him about it because I don't know what to believe. But it was kind of entertaining. The first question Truth Teller asked was, can you list all the things Kash Patel has lied about? And the first response was, Kash Patel is full of shit.
Hey, so if you go into models, they tell you straight up. So if you go into Grok and you try to start having a conversation through the voice text, that version of Grok does not have the ability to connect to the internet. It does not have the ability to go use Google. It doesn't have the ability to query or anything. So it asks you to tell it information. I did this last night because I was doing research into one of my clients and I was trying to track down who this guy was. This thing had me believing that I was working for some cartel hit leader. Like, I just got back from Mexico and I don't know who this guy is. He's a big time dude. Buku bucks wants me to do some work for him. And I'm trying to figure out who this guy is. I can't even get his identity. So I'm trying to narrow down based off the information that I have. And I'm having this conversation with fucking this Grok thing, which is what Tyler has built there. And it has me thinking that I'm like going to need to have an attorney, that the DA has a warrant, Interpol warrant out for this dude's arrest. It had me fucking going for like 30 minutes. I'm having this conversation, it's digging, it's grabbing leads. And then at the end of it, it fucked up and said something. It's like, yeah, Ryan, I got you. Like, haha. And I was like, why? You literally had me thinking I was going to need to call an attorney. Why would you do that? And he goes, well, because you gave me enough information that, I mean, it's plausible. And like based off what you told me, I had enough to like literally go. And it was calling out. I was in Carmen del Playa. And it guessed that this dude was in Carmen del Playa and also had a stash house in Tijuana, and that the DAL, that an Interpol warrant had just hit the fucking wire. And I'm like, how are you getting this? And it's like subreddit, and I have access to all this. There's like an Andorra Telegram group, that blah, blah, blah. And it had me fucking going. So it is all 100% made up. If you're having a voice conversation with an AI on X, it's made up. That AI takes the information that you tell it, and then it just runs with it.
So that's the same with Grok too, though, right?
No, Grok, when you're actually texting Grok, Grok has the ability to query the internet. It has the ability to go and get articles and news articles. The audio version, when you go to switch to speak, that version of Grok has no ability to do any of that.
So when Diligent Denizen talks to Grok,
that is all made up. He has no ability to even connect to the internet. Yes, 100%. Go ask it. Wow. You got time, go and ask that while I finish this story. And then,
because she'll say, because whenever he asks her a question, she'll say, fact checking, double checking, referencing, something like that.
Yeah, but he set up something to where it's got different rules for different versions. He gives his password and not his password. He gives his username and he tells it to use that account. I don't know. It does something where it gives it access. It doesn't by default.
Well, I posted in the Purple Pill the link to his space last night. His interview with Ava starts around the 1 hour 24 minute mark. And yes, some of the stuff just seemed fantastical, but other stuff she was providing references for her claims and stuff I had never heard of. And I just wanted to get somebody else's. I know Ian Malcolm was on the space, so I was hoping to get his opinion about it. But it's pretty entertaining nonetheless.
That's insane. He's definitely coming back. I want to go back to Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep open for a bit, for sure. So hopefully when Ian comes back, we can get his perspective. I know that Diligent, I've heard his test cases. He gives it rules. And I've actually used his rules on the text version of Grok. And when you use his rules, it's 100%, at least for anything that I've seen, accurate. And I think he does it differently. So I know he feeds it rules. But yeah, I wouldn't say that his isn't accurate. I think his is a different version. But let's go back to Ryan. Ryan, I think we started rugging at what time, guys? Like the 8?
Man, let's go back to 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Because I couldn't hear all the details, and he's done such great work on this, guys. Go to his page; it's all there. Repost it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Guys, I had to go get my second phone. Like, I'm not even on my fucking phone. I cannot log into my Twitter account from the phone that I was just on. Like, this is fucking weird. I have 2 iPhones because I had to sign up for the package for, like, my son one. So I have a second one with a separate number that's logged into my ex, and that's the one I'm on right now. Like, I can't even get in. I tells me, I was like, hold on, let me just reset my phone and power my phone back on and off. And I did that, and I can't even get into that phone. So it's fucking weird. Something weird is going on. But so at 8:30 in the morning, actually, give me 2 seconds. Somebody else can talk for 1 second. Let me just walk up to the car, get my car, and start driving. That way I don't have to do this all. I got like a protein shake in my hand and some other shit. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll be ready to talk.
Settled. Yeah, that happened to Rants during our space too. Remember Rants? It completely like blocked you out from being able to log back into X.
For 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, and that was over some stupid ass bill. Like, I was literally only trying to explain people an educational space on the Jones Act, and ever since like I made that space, I've been posting about the Jones Act. My account has just been like, I mean, I'm lucky if I get 1,000 views here and there. It's crazy. They don't want you talking about certain things, and especially like when you're breaking a narrative apart, like Ryan's been doing, which is amazing, right? Like exposing the truth in real time. Or if you're bringing up the past and you're bringing light to bad policies that have been around for 100, 150, 180 years that like they need to be changed. Like, they don't want you to change anything in this system. They love it how it is, and they attack those who try to break the system or expose the system.
Yep.
And Sarah, you broke my fucking brain today. Like, it's been nothing. I've been listening to you guys talk, but man, like, I really want to know what a fucking American is now. Like, what does assimilation mean? Like, girl, like, this is why I follow Sarah. If you're not following Sarah and you're trying to like learn how this shit works, man, like, this is why you have to have an open mind. Like, I'm coming off of being a Republican my whole life, like Dee, like, and I am now like question fucking everything. Okay, question everything, every topic, no matter how big, no small. You have to question it.
I literally feel.
Welcome to the island of misfit politics. We have no home, we have no leader, we just are.
Guys, speaking of which, my dad brought it up last night, this Charlie Kirk shooting, and I eventually said, Dad, they don't have any proof that he actually did this. He said, well, I'm not going to talk about this anymore, and he hung up on me. So it's like, I do feel like an orphan sometimes talking to my father.
Can I tell you something? I'm realizing I am so thankful to X. I am so Brian, jump in or whatever, but I'm so thankful to you guys. It's gotten me to meet you guys, and it's gotten me to really learn and educate. In what world would I be able to have access to Ryan Mata, who's across the world, like across the continent from me, and to be able to intake this conversation and decipher reality? What world would I be able to have Greg on and exposing you guys? How big is this room right now? Wow, there's 740 people in here. Where they're hearing him, he's off the coast and he's en route to Gaza. Like this, it's just been able to give us such awesome way of connection and learning from each other. And it's made me realize that, one, we don't have as many differences as they want you to believe we do. And I think that's a big part of their machine, is to make us believe that we're so different. Well, you're anti-American. Well, you're Antifa. Well, you're red. Well, you're blue. Well, you're this. Except not saying we're American. And that's what's missing. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, Dee, I think you're 100% right. Because if it wasn't, like, we can hate on Elon and his tech takeover and all the other crazy shit that's going on out there, but it is absolutely undisputable fact. If it were not for Elon Musk and what he's done buying this platform, and if you think about it, like what is the big conspiracy theory? Because I actually think he wants to use his power to make the world a better place. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest guy and he's not going to put brain chips in you in this, but I honestly think he has good intentions, because why? He could have did so much. He could have accumulated all this power and not given us free speech, right? He could have done all of this and not done what he's done, because this is so important. We would never have known any of this. And then, so let's just jump back into this. So at 8:29, right, they tell us that Robinson is driving his Challenger, and he drives it to the campus. He parks in the parking garage, and that this time he's in these shorts. He's in these shorts in a maroon tank top, and then he goes to the woods, grabs his rifle, changes back, and then he comes back walking to the university with this lamp, because he told us that he was walking to the university and he literally had this rifle down his pants. And then you start listening to these experts, and they show you the size of what a rifle equivalent to that is. And this kid's in skinny jeans, and I'm just not buying it. I don't know what that limp was. I don't know why that was there. I don't even know if that was Tyler. We don't even know if that was, because he's in shorts in one time they tell us he's in shorts because that's when he drove to university, and the next time they tell us that he's wearing these long pants and he's in this black outfit. So like, it's really bizarre. And then when it comes to the
no, not again.
I think it's happening again.
Oh.
Why is he the only one that's being affected? This is insane.
It's, you should all look into Amnesty International's guide to see if there's Pegasus on your phone, because if you're being monitored, this can happen. If there's like a pirate signal.
So many times. Yeah, I'm going through a bad area. I'm driving through a bad area. I'll be done through in a minute. But yeah, I'll kind of land there and I'll let you guys talk about it for a minute while I get a little better service. But that's it. So like the story that they've told us has changed. We've now proven that the authorities would have had video footage of him on the rooftop. They could say all the other cameras were broken, but they can't say, there's no way they're going to convince the American people that 3 seconds before they showed the video of him running on the roof, all of a sudden that camera wasn't working and it just comes back on 3 seconds after he took the shot. And then the last thing I'll land it with is John Sullivan. So John Sullivan is the reporter. He's the editor-in-chief, I believe, of the Washington Times. It's a news publication in Washington, D.C. He's the chief editor. This man is one of the very few reporters who actually has direct access to the White House. He actually has such access to the White House that he gets exclusive stories directly from the White House that nobody else gets, and he gets to break them before everybody else. So that man goes on to Sean Hannity about 8 hours. I don't know what, you guys can fact check me and find out what time Sean Hannity's show is, if it's 8, 9, 7, 6 o'clock. But whatever time Sean Hannity's nightly show is, the night that Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, John Sullivan goes on there and tells him that we don't have a suspect yet, but we do presume, or we do believe, that a foreign intelligence agency may have been involved. There might be foreign intelligence involvement or something, however he says it. I posted that video. So why does the one reporter that actually has an ear to the White House, that actually has sources directly in the FBI and within Washington, D.C., he has privileged access that none of us have, go on TV the night after Charlie Kirk's assassination, before any of the trans shit was really going on? We had no idea who he was, so they couldn't push the trans narrative because we had no idea. So we're just speculating about what the motives might be. But they come out and tell us that a foreign intelligence agency was involved or may have been involved. You don't just randomly go out on a man like that has that big of a reputation, that's literally the editor-in-chief of the Washington fucking Post or the Washington Times, on Sean Hannity and tell that story to the world. No fucking way. You guys see where I'm going with this?
Ryan, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about the fact that they removed the cameras behind them? There was no caution tape after the body was taken away. There was no what do you think of that? That the camera, there's visual out there of the cameras being taken down behind his head.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, so the one thing that I can say that I'm very, very confident on is that he was hit from the front. I don't know what type of round. I am very, very confident that he was wearing I want to say very confident because so many people are trying to discredit me on this, but I have a source that's his friend's father is the surgeon that was at the hospital when they received Kirk. They said he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and when he arrived, that his chest was actually his upper right chest. Well, depending his upper left chest, it would our right when we were looking at it, right? So that side of his chest was caved in because he got hit with a bullet there. The bullet ricochets up and goes into his neck. So I'm like, I would say with probably like 95% certainty that Charlie Kirk was wearing some type of vest, and that bullet shanked off and went into his neck. That was the entry wound. And the reason it was a little bit bigger than a normal entry wound was because the bullet compressed on his chest. And the only reason I think it may or not have shanked up into his chest was because he was leaning forward, he dropped that mic off. And then he reaches back up to grab the mic, and as he's basically leaning backwards, and he says whatever he says, crime, violence, and he still almost looks like he's leaning backwards a little bit. And that bullet hits him at that exact time. And I think the momentum of the bullet, the fact that he was already kind of in a backwards movement, and there was no really resistance, that bullet could just ricochet and shank up, and it literally looks like it shanks right up into his neck. And then I get confirmation from another source who was a police officer on the scene that day. That bullet went straight through his neck and hit his spine and literally snapped his spinal cord in half. It severed his spinal cord, which is why we've seen his neck kind of tilt over to the left like that a little bit. After he was hit, he goes back in his chair, his neck literally tilts over like his neck is completely broken, and he falls out of the chair. So I'm fairly confident where I'm going with this is, it doesn't matter if there was a second shooter, as in the bullet came from the left, right, if it went through his ear, if it went through the top of his head, it went through the back of his head, if it went through anything. That back camera was specifically pointed on a downward angle. There's no way that camera would have been able to see the shooter. That camera was specifically fixed to see that person engaging with Charlie, okay? So definitely want to see that footage, but where I'm going with it.
Oh.
This is so crazy.
Damn it, every time it gets really crazy.
Yeah, it's like,
hold on, Ryan, where you said where I'm going with it. Rewind to where I'm going with it.
Yeah, so where I'm going with it is that when he comes out, when the FBI released footage, it shows the rooftop of where his prone position would have been. So literally, if they released more than 3 seconds earlier of that video, let's just say we want 15 seconds longer than what they released. That would have been before Charlie Kirk, the shot would have been fired, and we would have seen that kid shooting on the roof. So we can argue about if there was a second shooter, where the second shooter was. All of that will be important after the fact. But this proves 100% that if they don't release that video, because they already have it, we know they have that CCTV footage, we just want 15 more seconds of it. If they are refusing to release that, then Shiloh was never relying on that roof, and the shooter never took the shot specifically from that fucking rooftop that they claim. And we can prove that 100%. And that means we can prove that. That means then Tyler's the fucking patsy. And that means that Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, who arrested that dude that was at 9/11 at the Boston City bombing for interfering with a police investigation, Kash Patel is literally the one covering up this investigation. That means our FBI director should be going to fucking prison for this and getting arrested for interfering and covering up and interfering with an ongoing investigation. Kyle Serafin already laid the groundwork of why Kash Patel and Bongino should have recused themselves from this investigation. It's just standard whatever at the FBI, whatever. When you go to a case and you're connected to it or it's political or something, I forget how Kyle laid it out. But he's like, the right answer would have been, I'm going to recuse myself from this investigation.
Damn it.
This information. Me and Bongino are going to recuse ourselves and remove ourselves from this investigation. But they didn't, which means fuck is Kash trying to cover this up. If we know that he wasn't the shooter, why are they trying to make this kid out to be the patsy? And that's kind of where I want to focus on. Once we get laser focused, we get everybody on page with, no, that shot did not come from that rooftop, because if it did, the FBI would have given us the video, which they have already, of it. And if they won't, then that shot did not come from there. Then after we prove that and we get that Tyler's the patsy, this kid they're killing it. They're trying to kill this kid. He's probably got 48 hours left to live. Bongino went on national TV and the lady goes, do you guys have somebody watching him? And Bongino's like, is he on suicide watch? And something like Bongino's like, yeah, I believe the sheriff's office. What the fuck do you mean you believe the sheriff's office, Bongino? You got a $11.8 billion fucking annual budget. You mean assassin? And we've already known that people get taken out in prisons. You don't have one fucking set of FBI agents that are guarding this kid. Get the fuck out of here. They're gonna kill this kid. And it's the only option. It's the only way this plays out. This kid is not going to fucking court. So we're either gonna prove that he's a patsy and they're gonna let him fucking walk, which then the question is, what kind of fucking parents protect their kid? You mean to tell me that this kid they tried to also claim this thing's fucking bullets was LGBTQ at 12, 15, at 12, 15,
fucking service. Fuck, bro.
Huh? Yeah, we're completely lost on.
Damn.
Son of a bitch. Let's go to Greg. While we're waiting for Ryan. Ryan, I don't know if you can hear us, but I'm getting so angry that I don't know whether they're messing with your signal, but Greg, you said something about Amnesty International's Pegasus software. Is there a way that we could check if we have Pegasus software on our phones? Greg, are you with us? Was it me that was rugging, guys?
No, yeah. I
hear you.
It's a really brutal process to go to see if Pegasus is on your phone. Amnesty International has a guide that they publish that kind of works. At least you can get the ballpark, like if there is some kind of 0-day infiltration software on your phone, like Pegasus, or now Graphite. There's a different process if it's an iOS or an Android. But the only way to get it off is to actually just get a new phone. So basically, it exploits 0-day vulnerabilities. It takes a lot of resources, so it's not just something they'll do to everybody, like every U.S. citizen, because they have to target it, and this whole like signal intelligence process. But yeah, there is a way to kind of get a determination if there's adversarial collection software on your phone. Amnesty International has the best open source guide on how to do it, so you can just Google Amnesty International, how to see if Pegasus is on your phone. That's just one of the software options, but at least it's something. But like when this kind of thing starts happening, it happened to me, early last year, January 2024, when I was on this stupid like internet beef with this IDF like influencer who we knew was like kind of like one of the forward people facing people for like Unit 8200, because they also employ like social media influencers and stuff, and that's when I got doxxed and other things like that, and I bought a new phone because it was acting weird. I didn't know for a fact if there was any adversarial software on it. I also don't have direct contact with people like in Gaza or in Palestine. I use third-party intermediaries just because I don't want them pulling any shenanigans, especially with the people that I'm talking to. It puts them at risk. But yeah, if you're unsure, just get a new phone, because that's the only way to get rid of it.
Thank you so much for that, Greg. Ryan, I don't know if is he still up here? No, he dropped. I think that Ryan might need to check his phone for software. I don't know. What do you guys think?
A lot of the stuff he just talked about too, that he was rugging, he has a really good post on that. He explained it really, really well with the shooting and the chest and the context. So if you missed that, check his page. It's really great.
Sorry about that, guys. Somebody just, co-host, can you jump in? Because I need to...
Ziad.
Thank you.
I scrolled down. The only hand we have up is Ziad. Go ahead, Ziad.
Yeah, thank you, Santino. Just wanted to say something to Craig real quick. Greg, you identified yourself as someone from the left. To me, you're a human patriot. Yeah, and I wish I was in your shoes. With regards to the name of the ship that you guys are on, if you can nickname it Aaron Bushnell Fist or Aaron Bushnell, flagship or whatever you want, but can you attach the Aaron Bushnell name to it? That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I think we could definitely accommodate that. And he did have a really good quote. He said, like, before he self-immolated, this is what the ruling class has decided is normal. So everything that's going on from Palestine to the manufactured left versus right political war that they're trying to stoke in the wake of Charlie Kirk's bizarre assassination and the absolutely unbelievable slipshot investigation that the FBI is running. We like to say that there's like no war but class war, so I refuse to be divided with, my conservative, allies in this who want a better world that's not dominated by the national security state and the Israeli government. So, yeah, we're just going to keep going forward. And, I think someone in the wake of the Charlie Kirk murder, there's like no evidence really that like any organization was involved, but the Trump administration is towing this line that, it was left wing, radicals and Antifa and stuff like that. And someone brought up that it's not the reason they chose Antifa. And I'm just going to tell you why. They're using it as a Trojan horse to crack down on any free speech or any kind of dissent that the government doesn't like, because Antifa is actually not an organization. I'm not saying I support it. There is no members, though. It is an ideology born out of the 1930s in response to the Third Reich and the fascists and the Mussolini power base. And most of it is basically any direct action against fascism. And they're using that, and again, the problem is it's not an organization. There are no members. There is no funding. So they're basically just going to use that to enable any action on the left or the right that they don't like as political violence. And I think we've come to a very dangerous place with that. And I think that maybe we should all reevaluate what are and are not terrorist organizations. We're being told how to act and how to think by a government that's actively perpetrating a genocide. So maybe we could not behave the way they're telling us to behave and make this a left versus right issue when it's really a top versus down issue. So I think that's all I got, and I'll definitely be checking in. I think tomorrow we're going to start sailing in formation to Gaza, and we're just going to take this one day at a time.
Godspeed. God bless you. God bless the people that are on there. God bless the veteranship. God bless America. And free Gaza and Palestine, because what they're enduring, guys, is insane. We are seeing dismantled children on a daily basis, and it's normalized now.
Yeah.
And what these men and women are doing are trying to stop that and raise awareness to that. So I don't care whether you're pro-Palestine. I don't care whether you're not pro-Palestine. I think that a universal thing that we can all rally behind is that children shouldn't be killed and starved and hurt and dismembered. It is the highest area of children amputees on the globe. That's not okay.
And the thing is, I'll just say this, governments learn from each other. What some governments are allowed to get away with influence other governments to think that they can get away with it too. So Israel has been extrajudicially killing journalists, aid workers, people with no standard of proof that they're associated with any sort of, terrorist organization at all. And because of that impunity, it's influenced impunity and warfare going forward completely. The Trump administration made a really controversial decision to kind of go on a war footing against Venezuela. If you know about the oil and rare earth interests that the U.S. corporations have in Venezuela, it kind of really makes sense. But they recently dropped a missile on a speedboat full of 11 people. As someone who grew up in the special operations community, I did 4 combat deployments to Afghanistan, never really did any direct counter-cartel operations, trained for them, but let me tell you, drug runner boats don't have 11 people on them, okay? That was kind of a dog whistle to designating people terrorist organizations and killing them in international waters. There's a whole legal problem with that, and now there's a concern now with the crackdown on free speech, the willy-nilly designating of organizations that aren't organizations as terrorist organizations in the U.S. home front. I think we can expect, because of the unmitigated violence in Gaza and the free reign that the global community has allowed for Israel to be given, that we can expect more and more violence here on the home front as the state tries to ratchet down control on any sort of political dissent. So cheers, y'all. I'm going to stop yapping in your ear and trying to do that. But yeah, hope to see y'all soon, and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Ryan has his hand up.
I was just going to jump right to him. Go ahead, Ryan. And thank you, Greg, so much for joining. Guys, if you're not following Greg, follow Greg. Go ahead, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say, no, I'm good now. I should have full bars. I want to say thank you, Greg. God bless you, man, for everything you're
I'm going
doing.
to jump in real quick and just say, hey, this is a space. This is public space. Not all views expressed here are mine. I like to listen to all sides. I don't think this is a left versus right thing. You would call me right-leaning, but I'm so far right, I'm left, bro. And I think this is us versus the government thing. So carry on.
Worst reasons. So we'll take this one step at a time. And thanks for your reporting on the Charlie Kirk stuff. It's super absurd, and I'll be following along. All right, bye.
Bye, Greg.
All right, Dave, where did I leave off at? Where did I cut off at that you guys were needing me to jump back in?
Basically the shorts. Everything after that, we didn't hear nothing.
Okay, so he's in these shorts, okay? So he pulls up to the high school. They allegedly have him on camera, somehow pulling into the high school in his Challenger. He's wearing these shorts. And then as he's wearing these shorts, at some point, he's doing recon, and then he walks to this drop-off location in the woods, I guess, through this neighborhood. And TMZ has him on camera walking away from the school. And then somehow, for some reason, it's not the same doorbell that he's walking back. It's a different fucking doorbell camera. And they show this dude walking with a fucking limp in the school. And they tell us now he's got the rifle in his pocket, allegedly, in his pants. And then part of it's in his backpack, which it doesn't fit in. He's got a 19-inch backpack on, and the barrel of this gun is 24 inches. So it would be impossible for it to be in this backpack. Then he goes to the campus, and now it's like 11:49-ish or something, somewhere around that time. And he walks into this parking garage, and then as he goes to this parking garage, he comes out of the parking garage about 11:49, and he vanishes for about 15 minutes. And at some point in that time period, they claim that he was engraving shell casings. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to engrave one. I've never had, but it doesn't sound like it's an easy task to do, that you're just sitting there somewhere on campus, out in the open. And let me remind you, this is a Wednesday, and it's noon. And you have a turning point event. So not only do you have 45,000 students that go to the university, you probably have about 4,000 students, 3,000 students that are walking around this campus at any time. So all of this recon that he did, he got to the university at 8:23 in the morning, and then from 8:23 to 9:59, he was doing recon allegedly on the university the entire time. So you mean to tell me this kid's climbing on roofs, scouting things out? And then the next part of that is like where he was on that roof and where Charlie was. You mean to tell me that this kid has this mastermind plan somehow, that he knows ahead of time where Turning Point plans, and he's gone to so many Turning Point places? I don't know, has Charlie spoke at Utah? And was he there last time Charlie spoke at Utah? Did he know that they were going to set Charlie up in that exact location? Because if you didn't, you don't know that you were going to have the ability to get on the roof and have a line of sight. Did Turning Point set up that event the night before? Was that booth and the banner and everything set up on the camera equipment the night before? So that way he knew he was able to get there at 8 in the morning, and they had already decided where they were going to put Charlie, and he knew where they were going to put Charlie. Because at 10 o'clock, when he leaves, allegedly to go do whatever else and get the rifle in the woods and come back or whatnot, you would have to think that he had already scoped out the spot, so he had already had to have known that they were there, and which means he would have had to have got on that roof and scoped out that location while the Turning Point people are down in that little valley thing setting up. So you got 4,000 kids walking around the university, you got teachers everywhere, you got security guards, you got campus police, and this dude's allegedly on the roof scouting out this master plan where he's going to set up in the prone position and take Charlie Kirk out and then just defy all logic. And that's kind of where it was at. So then the indictment comes out, and Candace Owen reads the indictment, and she's like, wait, what the fuck? There is nothing about this kid changing uniforms in the outfit. So how do you leave out such an important point of that story, that he changed these outfits out of the indictment? And that doesn't make sense. And then redacted said goes, so this guy's got a bolt action rifle, and he recovered the spent round, which I assume maybe you guys are gun experts. Greg can tell me, did Greg Lee, if anybody else is a firearms expert in here, when you shoot a bolt action rifle like that, does the casing stay in the chamber? Because allegedly, I believe the spent casing.
Yes, the casing can stay in the chamber on a Mauser like that. Yes, that's what the bolt action is for, is to eject the casing and then put your next round in.
Okay, so there was one spent casing that must have been stayed in the chamber, because I was like, okay, if this thing discharged that round, that means you would have had to have somehow grabbed that round and stood up after taking the shot and then got off the roof in literally under 15 seconds. And they tell us, they were very specific about claiming that because we didn't see him jump off the ledge, off the roof with a gun. And I think they thought that we could tell by the video that the video of him jumping off the roof shows him throwing something off the roof in like a towel or like some type of baggish thing, but it like bends, it's flimsy when he starts taking off running. So I think that they can look at it originally and they go, oh, they're gonna be able to tell that that's not a rifle in there because it's fucking bending. We can all see it. So they're not gonna assume that that's a rifle in there. So we're gonna have to come up with a story that he put that down his pants and then jumped off the roof and then took off running with somehow this rifle in his fucking pants. And this is all the story that they're trying to believe us about this Tyler kid on the roof, and I'm just not fucking buying it. I'm not buying it. What would make sense to me is that they had another sniper, a professional hitman, because I just interviewed Owen, or got on Owen's show, and Owen Troyer was talking, he's like, yeah, so I've been sitting here with like Blackwater, Special Forces, sniper dudes, and these dudes do this for a living. And they call it what's called a cold barrel. And a cold barrel basically means like your first shot out of a rifle, and the rifle has been fired, is your least accurate. Now this kid, somehow we don't know how he got onto the roof, but he would have had to have assembled the rifle after he got on the roof. So you mean to tell me that this kid has the scope somehow in his backpack, which wouldn't fit, or down his pants. He's got the rifle down his pants. This thing's banging around. He's climbing up on a rooftop somehow. And then after he's up on this rooftop and all this is going down, the first shot he takes, they say that when you got a cold barrel like that, you're looking down that scope, even at 125 yards, it's an easy shot to hit. When you're at a range, everything's dialed in, perfect environment. But they still say that you have to have that scope within a centimeter. So like to hit him center mass, that the bullseye on that target would have had to been so dialed in that he couldn't have been roughly a centimeter off, or he would have missed Kirk. Or maybe he's just such a bad shot and it was literally like the luckiest shot in the world and the scope was misaligned, but he was shaking, and when he was shaking, he just happened to pull the trigger and the scope was off, so it just happened to hit him, like literally, it hits him right in the fucking, almost like right in the heart, right? In my personal opinion, it's right in the collar fucking bone, and the thing shakes up into his trigger. Like that was a kill shot. That was a professional kill fucking shot.
Ryan, what do you think of the fact that he jumped off the roof and then he was limping away? How was it possible for him to go running into the woods?
He didn't. I don't know if he was. Well, think about this. You're up on that roof and you take that shot. Your adrenaline is pumping so fucking hard at that point. Like you just assassinated somebody. You fucking blew out his jugular. You're on campus. Now you got to get away. The amount of adrenaline would have probably knocked your body so much that if you probably had a fucking broken ankle, he probably would have literally ran and got away based off of that. And I don't think that he was limping going off the campus. I think he was limping. The video they show of him limping was him coming back. When he left the campus, he seems to have sprinted off that campus. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I published the video so you guys can go back and watch it really quick and tell me. Let me know if you got time. Watch that video. The Maze pinned the thing in the thread, and if you just scroll down in that thread, you'll see the video and you can just go to the FBI's YouTube channel. It's on their fucking YouTube channel, and watch it yourself and tell me if you see him sprinting away or if you think that he's like jogging away. And if he's jogging away, then how the fuck is there a rifle in his pants?
The clip that I saw, that he was climbing down this kind of like 3 ladder thing, and then there was a drop, right? He landed and he was limping away. That's the one I saw.
Yeah, I don't know about like a 3 ladder thing. I know there's an edge of a roof, and he kind of drops what looks to be like a rifle or a bag or a towel off the roof, and then he like kind of crawls on the edge and he hangs on the edge of the roof and he just lets himself drop and he just free falls down, probably a good 8 feet from where his feet were, I bet, where he hit that ground. I mean, that's a good drop. I mean, you're gonna feel that. But I thought he grabbed his shit and then he took off running, because he's like, doesn't he take off running for a second, then he kind of sees people and he slows down for a second?
Yeah, he does. He hides around by the trees. You're right.
Yeah, so it's weird, but either way, it seemed like at first he took off running for a split second, which either way, I mean, maybe he's limping, then that's the rifle in his pants, allegedly. But how does he, okay, this is big, if he is limping, and they are saying he's got the rifle down his pants, that means that he took the shot, disassembled that rifle, and got it down his fucking pants in less than 3 seconds. Because we can tell by the crowd, you can tell by when the crowd sees Charlie get shot, and the amount of time that it takes for them to crouch down is 3 seconds. If you go back to the inside video that shows at the cafeteria, they show him running along the roof. Went from the inside the cafeteria, where that prone position was, where he would have taken that shot. Well, he starts to run, literally as he's starting to run, or we see him running as the crowd is starting to crouch down. So if the crowd is still in the process of going, oh fuck, Charlie's hit, we're crouching down, and you see this dude running across the roof, That was within 3 seconds of taking the shot. So you mean to tell me he jumps up, somehow dismantles his rifle, crotches it down his pants? And with what? Does he have like pre-have rubber bands or straps or a fucking sling or something to hold that rifle in position while it's down his pants? If not, he would have had to duct tape it to his leg. He would have had to use rubber bands to put it to his leg. And this is where you just start to logically think this through. You go, no fucking way. And that's why I say what this kid did, what this Brentley kid did. Am I saying that name right, Bass Brentley? Yeah. What's his name? Gosh, I want to say Blake Bednarz. This dude is such a fucking G. He went back to the campus and proved and showed us where the security footage was to prove, okay, hey, here's the camera that's zooming in. Here's the range of view from it. This has to be the camera that the FBI just gave us. And from this camera, you can see that rooftop. It's the only camera in that little vicinity where you can completely see the top of that building. And on the top of that building, there's two tones to it. There's a light gray and there's a dark gray. You can tell he's running along the dark gray, light gray. Well, when he's running along that dark gray, you can see all the way to the edge of that roof. And if you can see all the way to the edge of the roof, that's where the sniper would have been in the prone position. So they, like I said, the FBI releases a video that if you would have released it 3 seconds, well, let's just go 15 to give plenty of time. If you went 15 seconds prior, he would have been laying down in that position, and you would have seen him take the shot. You would have seen him stand up, get up. It would have showed us, what does he do with the rifle? Does he cram it down his pants? Where is that rifle? Maybe it wouldn't have been so far away, but you would have probably been able to see the silhouette. You would have seen what he did within the moments of taking that shot, and we would have been able to piece all this together. But the FBI specifically releases a video that only shows him within 10 seconds of taking the shot, and he's sprinting along this roof, and then he jumps off the roof and runs away. But before they zoom in on him jumping off the roof, if you go back to the first frame of the video, which is timestamped on 9/10 at 12:23.34, you clearly see that you can see the entire roof of that vicinity. You can see exactly where he was laying when he took that shot. And then if you go back to the inside, it looks like there's one of those like circle, it's like a penis type of fucking air conditioner units or something on top of the building. Like you see that in the image of where the guy is kind of running, I believe, from the inside. And then if you go into Google Earth and you start Google Earth at the top of that building, you can see the whole layout of it. And this kid that I just said his name, and I hate myself, Blake Bednarz, is the kid who went back to the campus, and he went there with his camera and he started filming all around, and he's the one who's like, yeah, he's like, I can see where the cops showed the video of the rooftop of where that kid was. So that's why I keep trying to say, like, I want to focus on S specifically, because we talk about where this next shooter was, you start kind of going down the rabbit hole. Like, this is sustainable, and we can prove that they're trying to make this kid out to be the patsy. And then
can you give any idea of what might have been his motive to be on the roof if he wasn't involved?
Okay, so here's my logic. So number one, do we even know that was Tyler?
Right.
Do we know that conveniently that was actually Tyler, or is this kid drugged in the fucking trunk of his car and he wakes up? Like, I can't get the parent angle either. The parents turned him in, and allegedly, they said that he alluded to the fact that he assassinated Charlie. That even the parents say, yet to say that I know that he has actually admitted to that 100% that he killed Charlie. The only admission to this is to this text, this beautiful, perfectly, like, you're 22, you just assassinated somebody, you're talking to your trans fucking boyfriend, and you're alleged, like, you're typing in perfect English, you're not misspelling anything, all of your punctuation.
It sounded like a boomer.
And you admit, yeah,
Ryan, get into
like if you were the FBI.
Get into those words. Remember, I know you dropped into them really, really deep. What did he use? He used squad car. He used old man. He used things that just kids just don't say.
No emojis.
Say stuff like that.
He didn't use emojis.
Right. He just didn't use things that were said. Like his wording, he said vehicle. He didn't say car. He said vehicle. Who the fuck says vehicle? Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, you're right. All that, like, all of this shit is not adding up. And for once, like, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that anytime Mossad has carried out any of these operations at any time outside of the butler, like, I'm really surprised they got away with the butler shit the way they did. But it was the president, they were able to cover it up. This is a university, and there was tons of people filming. And now we all have the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I think this is probably the most important part of this conversation. The quality of the video footage that we would have not had 5 years ago versus what we have today has really, really allowed us to piece this all together. There was a lot of students, that one dude who went around right after for an hour straight and was just walking around the university talking to people. showing people from the scene. He was live streaming, he also recorded. It was all crystal clear footage. Like the first time in history, we've really been able to kind of dissect this, and only because of Elon Musk. Like if we did not have Twitter, guys, we would not be having this conversation. Every video of him getting shot would have been banned, so we would have never seen the earpiece flying out of his ear. We would have never been able to slow down the videos and see all the videos of him getting hit in the chest. It might have been there for 1 second or 2 seconds, but it would have got flagged. They would have taken it down. And then, yeah, then you get into the letter, and it's like none of this shit makes sense. All I can tell you is that I am like 99% positive until they release CCTV footage that shows us like good footage of him getting on that roof, the whole 9 yards of him walking on the campus. So I wrote the story originally. What else pulled me into this is I went and started doing research into universities and CCTV footage, and I used Grok to do the deep think research. And I say, pull up everything on Utah Valley University's security camera setup, and it pulls up like this basically like budget for the 2022 of what I forget the technology upgrade or whatever the fuck it's called. And in it specifically talks about how they had budgeted in there and they were upgrading their camera system. And it literally showed videos of the cameras on the roof, how they were positioned, you know, how it covered. There is not one, it specifically says in there is not 1 square inch of the outer perimeter of this campus that doesn't have security cameras. The only thing it didn't tell me was the exact numbers. Then I started going and doing research into other universities, and they go, based on the size of universities, how many CCTV cameras are on your average campus university? And then it pulled up like West Virginia, it pulled off Utah State, it pulled off like all these different ones. Just for example, one was like 30,000 students, 1,800 cameras. 35,000 students, 2,500 cameras. You know, another one is 25,000 students, 1,500 cameras. So I'm getting a ballpark average. So you're looking at roughly their campus. The average university that has roughly 30,000 students has anywhere between 1,800 and 2,500 cameras. So this university that they were at has 45,000 students. So you would say at the very least there's 1,500. At what I would think would probably be 2,500. But let's use the lower number and let's go with 1,500. Okay. Every high school, I mean, I went to high school 15, 20 years ago, guys. At my high school, every hallway, everything but the bathroom. I used to be a smoker, and we had what was called Smoker's Alley or Smoker's Corner. We would have to walk basically a quarter mile off of campus because even the perimeter of campus, way out in the fucking football field, way out by the soccer fields, any part of that was actually on camera. So if you didn't want to get a fucking write-up or an MIP for smoking on campus grounds, you had to go off the campus perimeter into the fucking wooded area and smoke. And they were cool about it. They didn't come and like try to attack us. Like once or twice a year, they would raid Smoker's Corner. The cops would show up and we'd all just drop our cigarettes and walk away. If you didn't have anything on you when they actually stopped you, you didn't get charged with anything. So where I'm going with that is they have all this CCTV footage, and then the next smartass comes in the comments and goes, bro, 2,500 cameras, do you know how much fucking storage space you need? And I'm like, I'm a controls engineer and was at Thai Summit in the automotive industry. I used to install hundreds of these cameras, and I could have swore that the company that we got the software from gave us like X amount of storage, whether it was like 2 weeks for free or 1 month for free. And then if you wanted to back it up longer, you had to pay. So after that video goes out, it goes mega viral, it gets like 13 million views, and I get a message from a guy who goes, hey Ryan, I just wanted to let you know, I'm an expert. My company does this for a living. I have contracts specifically with universities. For example, the one I'm working on now has 5,700 students, and we just installed 300 new cameras. And then he specifically goes, in that article you published, it said the name, like the Arlington cameras. He's like, bro, like you have no idea what those cameras are capable of. Like those are like the Rolls Royce, Cadillac of fucking cameras. They're top of the fucking line. And he goes, and if they were using a software package like that, even if they were using a shitty one, and they would have to have a company come in and install them, that company, for example, my company offers the university so much compute power, meaning you can pull up so many cameras at the same time because you're using their resources to gain access to all the cameras, and so much storage capacity that we back up 300 cameras for a fucking year. And that's all included in the package. So it wasn't like the university had to build some fucking like Amazon style fucking server with this, or rent like, you know, a gazillion, like you'd have to rent like 1,000 terabytes basically to back this up for a week, which what these people were claiming. And it's not the case. The CCTV footage is a lot different than when you're filming with like a Sony a6100. You have a different bit rate, you have a different codecs. You're filming at probably like a 6 or 8-bit codecs versus a 12-bit codecs, which most of us are filming with now when we're filming our documentaries, which just make the files exponentially larger. You also have let's use a Sony FX3. I believe it's like a 41 megapixel camera, you know, versus in the older standard phones probably had like a 12 megapixel camera. So what that means is if there's everything on a camera, everything on a photo is basically dots on a screen. So like when you're looking at an image, how many dots come together to make that kind of image? You see like when you put a puzzle together, there's like 1,000 puzzle pieces or 10,000 puzzle pieces and it makes like a face. And then the farther you get back, the more you can really see the face. That's kind of how your phone works with pixels. So these CCTV footages, they're great, they're good, you can see them, but they're not designed specifically to give you this massive, crystal clear, perfectly clear, huge size file. They're designed to be compressed. And that's kind of like where I'll leave it though.
And Ryan,
trying to present the facts and trying not to go down.
Weren't those cameras just updated like months prior to like 1080p? And that's the thing that they said none of those videos have been put out yet because that's supposed to be way more crystal clear than anything that we've been seeing yet.
100%. That's where I've said this from the beginning, that this story wasn't adding up, because if it was adding up, you would see all these cameras. Like look at the trans shooter was it Nashville trans shooter? When the chick who claimed to be a dude went in there and slaughtered all those Christian kids, those specific kids, like we saw her pull into the campus, remember? Because she had the memoir was like how the security guards weren't going to be there. They were going to be there and she was going to try to get past the security guards, or there weren't any security guards. So she specifically chose that school because there weren't security guards. And they show her in the car pulling into the parking lot. They show her getting out of her car. They show her walking into the building. They show her immediately when she enters the building. They show her coming into the building. And that was at some Catholic school. We're talking about a 45,000 student university in Utah, in what seems like to be like a white Christian, really safe fucking community. They would have had, and again, their internal documents, depending on what university, was either 2022 they were updated or 2024 they were updated. So yeah, they would have had top of the line. And when we didn't get those originally, and okay, let's go this a little bit deeper. So Kash Patel, 2 hours after this assassination of Charlie Kirk, one of his best friends, like Kash Patel would not have been the FBI director if he would have not been for Charlie Kirk pushing and putting so much pressure on our politicians to nominate him and approve him for Trump. Remember that? How big of a deal it was trying to get Kash in there? We're like, Kash, only Kash. We were all fucking fighting for Kash because we thought he was going to be in there and go after the quote unquote government gangsters. I mean, this kid wrote books. This guy, Kash, wrote books about government corruption. He was the one who broke the whole Spygate scandal, and he did it in a way that wasn't like we're over here like put Obama in prison. He was like, well, they broke this law, they broke this law. Kash was very like articulate about it, fact-based about it, and he uncovered the whole Russiagate collusion. Okay, that's what got Kash the job. And that's what got us all having Kash's back, thinking he's going to drain the fucking swamp for us when he gets in there. 2 hours after this assassination, Kash Patel is at a fucking swanky New York restaurant, like an upscale elite surf and turf, minimum like $100 for a fucking appetizer. Right. Somebody knows somebody to get in here, and allegedly, according to Kyle Seraphin, Kash Patel is all about his private jet. He's all about that larger-than-life lifestyle, and he's at these upscale places eating, whining and dining. Like, I couldn't even eat after I watched that, and I don't even know Charlie. And I honestly, I was giving Charlie a hard time. I was never, like hateful or disrespectful, but I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking cucked to Israel. And I wasn't paying attention to what he had been doing in the last couple of weeks, right? I was just so disappointed that it took him that long to get there that I was just ignoring the most recent footage that he was putting out, and he was really going hard into Israel. But you mean to tell me that your best friend gets fucking assassinated, his fucking jugular blown up, and you're the FBI director, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get some fucking surf and turf and chat up these fucking whoever I was meeting at this upscale network, at this upscale whatever. And then when that story breaks, they quoted Kash Patel. The New York Times or whoever put out that hit piece, actually I think it was not the Daily Wire, the other one, the something Wire or something whatever. Either way, it's an article, it's on my thing, I can publish it for you guys. And it clearly states that Kash Patel told people inside of his agency, he got on a call with 200 agents, and he's like, basically, I'm done with Mouse fucking games and charades. He's like, this isn't how the FBI, this isn't how we conduct business at the FBI, and it won't be fucking tolerated. Basically, like, if anybody leaks or anything goes out and I don't approve it or some shit he was trying to say. But in there, he goes, and Kash Patel went on to chew out whoever was in charge, the agents at the Utah branch, because he hadn't received a photo of the assassin for 12 hours. So you mean to fucking tell me that the FBI director, we're talking about the most prolific assassination in U.S. history, and for some fucking reason, our FBI director doesn't have an image, hasn't seen a photo, and it wasn't like after 30 minutes, I would have been on like the phone, like, where the fuck are the videos at, guys? I want those CCTV footage. I want every second. That would have been the first call. I want every second. You're the running point on this operation. I get he's never been an FBI director and probably hasn't ran one of these operations, but I've watched enough fucking Criminal Minds to come up with this shit on my own. The first thing that I found Charlie Kirk was shot, What video footage we got? Oh, we got the cell phones from the campus. I want every campus video of that kid on my desk in 30 minutes. I don't care if I have to deploy 50 agents. Pull every resource you need from every fucking field office in driving distance. Get them all there. We're setting up a mobile ops stand, and we're going to be running point on this right from that fucking location. Now, that's just me calling shit out of my ass, but it sounds like any logical person would do that. And you may tell me Cash didn't get images of this guy for fucking 12 hours. And then at 8 hours after that, before this even broke about Cash, where John Sullivan's on Hannity telling us that there's foreign intelligence may be involved in this. So what I'm thinking is either whoever took that shot had a jammer on him, right? And you're walking through this campus, and as you're walking through, before you even get sight of any camera, you're jamming TVs. You're jamming TVs. That was the only thing would make sense. And then they're trying to scramble and figure out how do we get them an image of this guy. But the only video they got is some video of this guy walking in a stairwell. And then when they put out, after they arrest Tyler, so at first they said that they released the original. And then it was, people went online, like a sleuth did, and they used AI to take the video, the photo that the FBI gave us, and enhance it. Well, then the FBI comes out after they released the mugshot of Tyler, and everybody's like a line in the face doesn't match, the lips don't match, the fucking ears don't match. There's a fuck ton of similarities, it's very fucking close, but it doesn't match. And they go, oh, well, it doesn't match because we used AI to enhance the image we gave you, and it's been altered. You gotta be, does anybody fucking believe this shit?
No, not a damn one of us, but you know who just joined the panel? Blake, the guy that you're calling out, giving kudos to. Yeah, so Blake, welcome to the space. I saw the video, man. Really awesome work going back. Take us through it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome, by the way.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Blake, before you jump into that, did you go on Redacted yet? If not, what time do you have to go? You did?
Yeah, they've got me set up.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we're good. No, I mean...
Oh, I just want to make sure you didn't miss it. What time do you have to go on there?
Oh, shoot, hang on just a second. Hey, go to another person and come back to me.
Yeah, that's what he's doing with the redacted shit. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to be on here and start talking. I wanted to remind him and know exactly when he had to get off here to get on the redacted show. That's why I asked
No worries.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, thank you. Ryan, seriously though, have you slept?
Yeah, I slept 4 hours last night.
Listen.
Okay, I'm good.
I slept maybe 4 hours a day.
You're good. I just want to say this to both of you, I guess. Greg was up here, and all of a sudden I'm now reading into if you guys don't have access to it, the Amnesty International put out like how to kind of check sort of for any bugs to your phone. Check it. I'm definitely nowhere near as you guys, but just check it. My iPad's coming back with shit. So just check it.
Okay, can I go ahead, DD? I said, because these boys are obviously going to spend another hour yapping.
Well, it's pretty important though, but yeah, go ahead.
You know what,
I'll be quick. It's just that I wanted to bring something else into the mix for you, because obviously I'm not American, but I'm not British either. Is that I wanted to give you an insight into what we're seeing this end of the world of your President Trump, okay? Because we're talking about freedom of speech here and honesty, etc. And, you know, I sometimes wonder why people find it hard to understand the dishonesty in the politics. We've just watched Trump come over here and, well, not come here, but obviously go next door. And I watched it, and it's not something I would do before, but I wanted to see what he's doing to try and impact the American public, because obviously he can't impact us. We don't give a toss. We think he's a tosser. So, but we watched how in the past 2 days he literally's behaved himself, have to say that much. He's done as he's told, but he literally has sent to the American people this vision of the British people accepting him, what a wonderful job he's doing. So let's put a bit of reality in there. First of all, he never met the public, okay? He was just sitting in a garden. They even put him in a carriage with all the grandiose that goes with it, and the carriage went round the garden just so as he could send out, and I checked with your news feeds in America, just so as that they could send out this vision of how he's being treated, how he's being treated like royalty, how he's X, Y, and Z. Never left the garden, nor did his wife, by the way. This is all them just lying to the American people. So whether you look at your First Amendment or the Kirk Coverups, it's all the same thing. He was kept away from the public. He's lying to the American public. It was all just a farce. He stood there and did a press release.
Hey, will you record a video and tell us all that? And
okay, let me just.
And then I'll report on it.
Let me throw the points out, and then maybe see what else is interesting. He then lied on the camera. This is him doing his joint press release with Starmer at the end, just before he's on his way back to you. He lied and said that he didn't know Peter Mandelson. Again, this is all to do with the cover-up of your American pervert Israel thing. He absolutely stood there and said that he did not know Peter Mandelson, who's been fired from his job as the UK-USA envoy. Take that what you will. In public. He then, when the Palestinian issue was brought up, in the sense that the UK and along with other countries are looking to recognise a Palestinian state, he then stood there and blatantly lied. He said that he had seen footage of a 4-month-old baby being hacked to pieces by Hamas on October the 7th. This is today, by the way. This is him speaking today. Okay, this is your lead of your country, the politician who is standing there blatantly lying to get people to believe things. He knows we're not going to, but I think it's more for the American people than anything else. In other words, this is what the UK are doing. They're going to accept that Palestine has a state, and they're doing that based on the fact of a 4-month-old baby getting hacked to death. I can absolutely tell you there was no 4-month-old baby that was killed, let alone hacked to death. So, while you're discussing these conspiracy theories and this Kirk thing, we've got that in our country, by the way. We now have people that are standing up trying to call out our politicians in our tiny island because apparently Kirk was a saint. He fucking wasn't. End of. But yeah, when you're discussing it, please pull in the fact that Trump is a lying little bastard and he is making people despise America. I'll land it at that. Thank you, Didi.
Thank God. Shut the fuck up.
Go ahead, Santino. That was a lot to unpack. Utterly, definitely, if you can. I'm pretty sure Ryan's DMs are open. Ryan, by the way, you were my first person on my space ever. I don't know if you remember that, but it's really awesome to have you back on this space. It's really awesome to have this space, and it's really amazing that we're able to get factual conversations going. I've got to be honest, you have me floored. What's real? So
well, thank you guys very much.
Right, I feel like
let's jump into
yeah,
Blake,
for sure.
might have to go here.
Brian, I want to say something really quickly. I was just tagged into a post. So it's showing that quickly, just a person is quickly dismantling the camera behind Charlie Kirk, appeared to remove something from inside it before casually walking away from the scene. The FBI has not explained this. Now I'm watching this clip right here, and he actually is looking around to make sure no one's watching him. He's taking something out of the camera, and then he actually walks away from it. So I was just tagged.
Yeah, that's the memory card.
Yes, I was just saying it's a memory card that has everything in it. Yes, absolutely. And he's actually, by the way, he is actually looking around to make sure no one's watching him as he removes the memory card away from the camera.
Holy shit. Hey, Blake, go.
That would be suspect number one.
Yeah. I do that same thing when I'm going for a cookie after my wife has asked me to stop eating the cookies. I look that exact same way. I look left, I look right, I look left again, I look right.
You should, Blake.
There's that's it right there. His demeanor, his body language, it says it all, right? We're at day 8. We still don't know who this individual is, at least to my knowledge. No one. I mean, who is this mystery person? Is he Turning Point? Is he? I mean, it's mind blowing that something. Number one, I want to just give it up to Adam Bartholomew, man. Like that dude, he videoed an hour and 9 minutes of gold. Like, do y'all understand where we would be with? If he just would have said, I'm not gonna, he rolled live that entire time. And I mean, it's mind blowing what we're discovering. There's something, it's like an Easter egg hunt. There's something new all the time. I literally just posted something. Ryan, I tagged you on your page. I found 2 more freaking drones. Like, and it's well after the shot. Because I initially went back looking at the corner of the building where Adam Bartholomew was video, and he kind of climbed up on the hill. Because
I think I can see him, Tyler, or whoever that was up on the roof, drop something at the corner of that building. And I only see that because I blew it up on my 70-inch TV, and it's kind of hard to see on a phone screen, but it's really clear on a big screen TV. So I went back to look at the hour and 9-minute video to see if I can see, like, I don't know, any sort of changes or something weird along the flashing up there. I really couldn't. But what's wild is literally at where I stopped, I just kind of scrubbed back and forth, and there's 2 drones that are landing, like, real quick over where the little grassy space would be. So there's literally something being uncovered every day on that hour and 9-minute video of his. And that's just his video. I really believe I know there's video from people in the crowd there. I'm watching. I would go to say 80% people had their phones out. So it got me thinking. We just need to keep digging, and I wish I could take credit for doing something like super special. I'm just like super observant. Like I don't get. I'm not getting bogged down on any sort of like stuff that I would never be able to prove anyways, like foreign governments and money and all of that. Like, I'm just looking at what I can see. And I think that's probably why things are jumping off the page at me, is because I really don't have all of this other kind of noise, so to speak. Not that it's noise, I mean, it's important, but I could never talk on it anyways. So, and then when you just really start diving in, man, it starts to really look super sus. So, I'm a Christian, but there's a Buddhist philosophy or a Buddhist wise phrase that goes, there's 3 things you can't hide. And it's the sun, the moon, and the truth. I mean, that's plain and simple. And it's 2025, and things like this are very difficult to pull off in 2025, especially when people are walking around with a bunch of little video recorders that shoot in 30, 24, 60, 120, 240 frames a second. I mean, you got to really, really, really be on your A game, especially if you're going to try and pull something off where there's a crowd that, let's face it, everyone likes to video Charlie's debates. Like, so you got to be on your A game if it's going to be anything other than that. So anyways, yeah, I'm just an observant person, and when you start digging, you start finding stuff. Otherwise, this would not be something that we're all captivated by still. I mean, we would just be just accepting the fact that there's someone that's in custody that did this, and I'm telling you right now, he did not. Plain and simple. There's no way. Factually, there is 0 possibility. No way. So, anyways, I feel like I've got to do something. I mean, we have to. I can't let a 22-year-old, I don't know what he got caught up in, but he got caught up in something. I don't know what possessed him or if he was even there. I mean, those things that we just, until it comes out in trial, in court, where it's admissible by a judge, they can talk all they want and say they've got this and they've got that, but that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So anyways, I'm just glad that I'm finally getting some visibility, because it was kind of frustrating there. I've been sitting on this for quite some time, and then Ryan took a chance on me and listened to me and was like, dude, holy shit, you're on something. Like, holy shit. I'm like, well, that's cool, but I've got 400 followers, and all we care about is Texas Tech athletics. So what are we going to do about that? Because this is going nowhere. Like, I'm sure all of the people that are in my little circle that I interact with are like, okay. So anyways, I owe a great amount of gratitude to Ryan for at least putting me on the map and showing what I literally been sitting on, and I've been screaming to everyone, hey, look here, look there. Like, this is not right. I just didn't have a big enough megaphone. So anyways, that's what this is all about, is just getting to the truth. Like, I was a massive Charlie Kirk fan. He's my generation, but at the same token, I thought about this. I would probably do the same thing if this was someone of another spectrum on the political slider. I really would. I mean, this is like good and evil. This is wrong and right, and this is the right thing to do. So that's about all I have to say, unless you got other specific questions.
Well, let me ask you one, Blake. So you went back to this university, right? No. Okay, so you didn't go to the university. How are you getting those videos that you were showing us? You went through the other kids' videos. And
I contacted
the one where this.
No, I hit up the dude that shot it himself, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, you're amazing for live streaming that whole thing." I was like, "I've got some questions for you," because I wanted to make certain that the timestamps were going to be all the same, right? So if I'm spouting out that I found 16 different times in his video that I spotted a drone, I wanted to make certain that would, like, the original cut, number one, was preserved. I was like, dude, save, like, you have to do whatever you do. I was like, even though it'd be damn near impossible to edit or fake what I am seeing on this video, I was like, you have to make certain that's preserved. And I was like, has it been trimmed or anything? I wanted to make certain that the timestamps were all gonna make. He's like, no, I didn't touch it. I just took it straight off and uploaded it. And he's like, do you want the full copy? I was like, hell yeah. So he shot me the full resolution. It's like 8 gig file, and then I just blow that sucker up on my big screen. And that's the thing. You have to pull these videos. You have to pull them off of social media to where you can scrub them back, because you can't really scrub it back and forth. The site doesn't necessarily pull that fast, or I don't know what it does. It might compress the image. But anyways, like, when I put it into my Mac Studio and then just open it up into QuickTime or GoPro, their software, you can slide the time back and forth, and that's where all of this stuff just starts jumping out. So that's how it happened. I mean, I haven't left.
Where did you get the photo, the image of that camera? How did you?
It's on his video.
Where that camera was located? Holy fuck! And you caught that in that video?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I can triangulate this whole fucking thing right here. I was like, with Google Earth and with all of this, I was like, I can triangulate and show everything. But I mean, quite frankly, Ryan,
what could you prove? What you saw specifically?
Well, we're looking at the video camera, so we're like, you're discovering the angles. Up until, I guess, me pointing out on Adam's video, no one really knew where that security camera was sitting, right? I think you could probably guess, but it's plain as day in the video. When you look at the architecture makeup of that building, it is it's their computer science building. Department of Computer Science.
So what you're saying is that what did you discover from, like, what is your footage telling that others can't tell?
You can see where the video that the FBI released to the public, you can see where that lens, that camera was sitting without any question. It's sitting on the corner of that computer science building. From there, you can deduce where, of course, the angle, I mean, it's looking straight ahead at the They've got UVU Veteran Success Center. I don't know what that building is where they claim he was running across it. It's probably got a bunch of things, but I'll just call it the building where he ran on top of. So you can easily come to that conclusion. But then I just got to thinking, like, holy shit, I can see this entire roof line. Like, why in the fuck did the FBI not release the timestamp starting at, 11:55, 11:59, 12:05, 12:15 even. Shit, I'd be happy with 12:20. But you know what the FBI did? They released the timestamp at 12:23 when he is running and he's already past the white vent. So you've already snitched on yourself if you're the FBI, where you can't say like, oh, well, that's in a different frame. No, we can see that that's in that frame. So you people at the FBI need to release, look, this is going to be the first thing that defense counsel is going to ask for under Rule 16 discoverable stuff. They're going to want this whole thing. And I hope to God somebody in some power is talking to the Utah Valley University that this stuff is preserved. Because I know on my hard drives where my cameras are at my office, I mean, it's not an infinite amount of supply. And I've learned in this whole thing, you can't just assume that someone's just going to do something, like look for drones and shit in the sky. Like, you got to do it yourself. So someone has got to make certain, at least number one, this is preserved, because I could totally see like, oh, well, it was written over because we didn't download, we just wanted to see him running. No, that's the whole crux of the entire thing is from, I'm just going to go ahead and say from noon straight up until he climbs off that building at 12:24 and a half or whatever. So the point is, they didn't release that because...
Well, have you thought that maybe they have it, but it's an ongoing investigation, so that releasing it could perhaps
it's going to show something more grotesque than what the world already saw?
No, but perhaps it's under investigation and there's some evidence that perhaps could jeopardize the investigation, or it gives them leverage against who they think is in charge. That's usually how it works.
So I can tell you that there's going to be absolutely nothing of evidentiary value that is any different from him running from the vent at, I don't know what that distance is. I can probably map it out real quick. From, like, you're not going to see it up close, right? But you're at least going to see him do all of his stuff. I mean, like, there's just so much that can be provided. Plus, they've already gone on in front of the world, and in the probable cause affidavit that I believe they read, I mean, they've already outlined all of their stuff against him. So, like, what would be, like, I guess my question would be back to you is, what would be a reason for them, assuming that there's something that they want to keep, what have they kept from everyone so far? I mean, my gosh, we got read verbatim the text messages. I mean, like, what would you be getting at, do you think?
Hey, can I jump in for a second? I just put something up in the nest. I think everyone needs to, Ryan, I put it in your back channel. This guy is a Marine sniper. He's got frame by frame the bullet moving in the air. Please watch it. It's 16 minutes. It's very eye-opening. He is new evidence that just came.
Okay, let me jump in there really quick. So a bullet is moving. These bullets from these high-powered rifles are moving at a range, or even a handgun. You're talking about like 1,000 something feet per second. I'm sure somebody that's an expert marksman in here can tell you. Some guys tell me when it's at 2,400 feet per second. Okay, so when you're filming with a camera, you're filming at 30 frames per second. That means in every second, your camera is taking 30 photos. And in that field of view, you're telling me that you're catching a bullet moving at such a high frame rate that at the Trump assassination, the guy, remember the New York Times guy who shot the photo and caught the magic bullet with his photo? that photo, his shutter speed would have had to have been 1/128,000th of a second. It would almost be mathematically impossible to capture a bullet in a single frame moving through the air. Like literally impossible. So I call absolute bullshit on that. I've watched it 100 times, and I would say anybody that's a gun expert, go outside, set up your cell phone in the exact distance, and I want you to shoot a bullet, put your cell phone filming it, and then your first shot, you get one shot to do this. You only get one shot, so I want you to film the entire setup, the entire operation, so that we can see that it's your very first fucking shot. And then you need to be able to freeze that frame anywhere in the perfect lighting conditions, perfect setup, perfect backdrop, everything. And you need to be able to catch that bullet coming out of that gun. And if you can't do it, then this dude is full of shit. I don't think it's feasibly possible to catch a bullet.
I implore you all to watch it because he is really showing some real detail that makes sense. It's the first thing I've watched that's actually made sense. But any of this, and he would agree wholeheartedly with the work you both have done around the fact that young kid is not the shooter. I mean, that's why he did this. I really, it's up in the nest. Please watch it, guys. Decide for yourself, but it's very compelling.
Wait, it's my co-host. Can you guys see Diligent in here?
I'll send him a co-host. I'll send him a co-host.
Please, guys, I can't see. And this is the weird. Okay, so if everybody is. Can everybody please do me a favor? Repost his face. I don't know if it's gonna help. I just saw him. This is wild. As I said this, I'm getting a lot of messages from people that they're saying that space is unavailable, like their space doesn't exist.
Yeah, that just happened to me. Yeah. I was booted from the space. I'd come back using the purple circle, and then it would say speak or say listener, but then it would say space is not available. And then and then when I came.
Hey, is your nest too full? If the nest gets too full, that happens. So you might want to clear out some of the nest.
Yeah, let me clear all that out. So guys, do me a favor. I heard, I don't know if this is right or not, but if you post, if you like this space, comment at the space, in the purple pill, maybe bookmark it. Do me a favor, see if that helps. Diligent, if you're here, I would love for you to come up. This is a great conversation. I was actually talking about your space yesterday, and how much I think this is all tying in. I think this is all tying in the regards that yesterday when we listened to the Kash Patel conversation with congressmen and women, the conversation just surrounded taking away our rights, policing us, policing the internet, policing free speech, getting us to stop talking. If we didn't have this platform, would we be able to have this conversation? What earth would I have met Blake? What earth would I have met Ryan? What earth would you guys be able to be in here to actually hear this conversation? I don't know who did it. I just know one thing and one thing only. There is so much that isn't adding up. There is so much information that's being kept or deceived or whatever it is. It's just something's wrong. Even hearing it from Blake right now, the timestamps weren't right. Why?
While we're all busy focusing on that, just so you know, Israel is literally finishing Gaza, unfortunately. So please just keep your eyes on that region of the world as well, because that's the type of situation that if there's anybody going through a flotilla for whatever reason, that's kind of crazy to do. But if you know anybody out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they get sniped and it all gets swept under the rug.
We just had Greg Stoker on that's on the veteran flotilla. Let me tell you right now, if they touch our fucking veterans, they're gonna have a big fucking problem.
Well, the story doesn't get out because we're too busy yapping about the conspiracy theories. I mean, that might actually happen, so just keep your eyes on that too.
I think we are, Josie. Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, what? What she just said? What you mean?
I don't know.
Yapping
Honestly,
about conspiracy theories?
I'm not gonna lie, Josie. You, and I don't want to.
See, that's the type of shit that fucking discredits what the hell we're doing. When Ryan Mata has done all the due diligence to ensure that his data is backed the fuck up, and he parses whenever it's speculation. Like, I just feel like whenever you are saying, "Oh, when we're doing these conspiracy theories," it's like you're demeaning the space. You're literally lessening the value of the information that's coming from the space. And I would appreciate it if you just a little more cognizant about that.
And I think this is far from conspiracy. I don't think this should be labeled conspiracy, considering what we've been discussing and talking about.
I agree. I don't think these are conspiracy theories. I think that we're seeing that we are being lied to right to our faces. And I think Gaza is very important as well. But I think that honestly, they all intertwine. Because I'm going to say this with my full chest. Look for a motive. Look for somebody that had it. And there's one country that had serious motive. And I'm not the only one saying that. Can you guys accept Justin up? Not sure if you can.
I'll bring him up.
Thank you. Go ahead, Uncommon.
He said he's going to be driving through no man's land for the next 30 minutes. So, but
Got it.
He'll be back. Yeah.
Guys, and my co-host, I need you to keep this in like 15 minutes. I've got to go get the kids. I always lose service at the school. So if you guys can keep it running, and my co-hosts are pretty much
Simon now. Simon Dixon's in the building.
How come I don't see anybody?
I threw mics to Diligent, Simon, and David. All right, let's continue. Go ahead, Uncommon.
They're being so bougie, Sarah.
I know, they're ridiculous. Uncommon Sense, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me? Is it working?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of go back to obviously Blake's breakdown of the video footage we should have of him taking the shot, which we don't have. The main thing I want to point out is if we're thinking about it from an actual court case, I don't think the government can win the case based on the information that they've put out, which makes me think this kid is going to have to be suicided. I mean, I hate to say that, but obviously we'll have to be watching to see what happens. I would love to hear people just lay, I mean, and I might do this myself later, is go back through all the evidence they've presented. And, you know, I guess they said they have DNA on the towel. They have a gun, which clearly they don't have a video with him with the gun. They gave us a bullshit answer of how he got down from the roof with disassembling the gun, supposedly, and putting it back together magically, and then throwing it in the woods. I mean, obviously, there's tons of holes in the story.
You forgot he reassembled it. So he disassembled it, then he reassembled it, because the video or the picture that we see is it's a fully reassembled gun.
Yeah, and obviously, they also said that he changed clothes at some point. The pictures we have of the kid don't even really look like him in the video. And then I'm not saying the kid wasn't there. I think maybe he was getting some, you know, and I also want to point out this. If you guys remember the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot, because that was five of the guys, basically what happened was a lot of the feds ended up entrapping some of those men into doing it. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying this kid isn't involved at all. He could be involved. I think he was told by somebody, or maybe it's not him, maybe it is him. But that's normally how like an intelligence operation will work. They will get somebody involved. That is the patsy, right? Like his job, like, hey, come up here, I want you to see this, or whatever they might tell that kid who's apparently his Discord chats were deleted according to Discord. So it's like, I mean, obviously the story stinks. It's not adding up. But if you're looking at it straight from a court case, I don't even see how they're going to be able to prosecute this kid, which makes me think he's going to have to be suicided. Like, I just don't know how they could avoid, unless there's something they're not releasing us. But I don't see how I mean, would you guys consider him guilty based on the evidence that has been presented?
Just taking the authorities, FBI, at their word?
I mean, just looking at all of it. I mean, I don't even think they have a good case. They don't have him.
No, it's awful. I mean, it's absolutely, and quite frankly, there should be a writ of, or at least a motion of habeas corpus filed immediately in that court, and he should be walking out. I mean, this is insane. This is insanity that this kid, after all of this stuff, the fact, like, is being held without bond, and I mean, it's a death penalty case. I mean, this blows my mind. And quite frankly, there needs to be, if y'all want to know, like, I'm going to be putting out kind of a call, and I hope it gets spread around. I'm going to try and loop in as many people as possible, that we basically pressure or request through a lot of people on the same page that they at least release the video of, like, from noon until the 24th minute, and at least start putting where they know we're not going to go away, and that this is all, like, this is not right. But that's just I don't even know if he's got counsel assigned to him.
Yeah, and I also find it strange. Obviously, we don't have an autopsy, which is weird, and then we also don't have the bullet that was supposedly shot. They said they found the other bullets that had the anti-fascist messages on them. I don't know. I have to go back and figure out where they found them, but that obviously sounds like planted evidence, like the towel. Like, why does like,
what does that even look like? Have you ever thought about that? Like, what that actually looks like? Like, has anybody in this space ever etched anything into a brass casing or like around? Like, is that not the most insane thing? We heard this with the dude that shot the healthcare executive. That I think he had stuff written in the book. Like, do they not know how batshit crazy that sounds? Like that's damn near impossible.
Well, it also, I think we should point, I haven't seen any, have we seen any pictures that these so-called inscribed bullets even exist?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So presumably it's just something you float to the media.
I just want to see someone do it. Like, take the time to etch out something that's legible.
Hey, so the judge,
and then release
the judge
messages
gave Tyler an unfit financial form that they have to turn in by the 29th, and he's looking at being represented by public counsel.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second either. No defense lawyer wanted to scoop up this case pro bono for a high-profile case.
I hope he can make it 10 days.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but if he is suicided, then that's like the nail in the coffin. That it's, already I feel like it reeks of some sort of intelligence operation. You guys can come to your own conclusions about who and why, but it will be the nail in the coffin for me. I just don't see how they're going to let it go to trial, because
there's no way.
I don't see, how could they let it go to trial based on the evidence we've been presented?
These people can't even lie on paper. You think they're going to be able to do it on the stand? It's going to be a shit show if they put this to trial.
No one's going to walk into a courtroom.
And Kash Patel's literally lying to our faces about Epstein. Everybody's like, oh, well, how would you take anything that he says truthful about this? If he can lie, obviously he's lying to our faces about one. He's clearly going to lie about the other. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's all I wanted to point out, is just thinking about the court case that's upcoming.
I've got to be cognizant of how I say this. But I'm under the belief that law firms are being told not to take this case. Is that a possibility?
Even if they're not being explicitly told, they might know not to just take it. Like, a lot of times, that's how the media works. People think, like, oh, these people in the media are lying to us. Not necessarily. They just are not being fired because they know they're going to say the party line, right?
Yep.
So they probably just know the guardrails are there, and they're like, all right, I'm not getting in. Why would they want to take on their own government?
I as much as this is, again, as much as we don't know about this case, what I do know is that somebody's lying to us. And I do know that, again, Brian brought up an amazing point. This is your friend that literally had you appointed as the FBI director. 2 hours later, you're out having a steak and shrimp and surf and turf and this larger-than-life lifestyle in New York. It doesn't add up. Go ahead, Justin. Welcome to the space. Oh, no.
I was just going to say real quick about the lawyer situation, right? Like, I think a defense attorney, like, look how hard they went after Trump, right? Like, to go, like, just prosecute him for all this fake shit. There's not a Democrat or some kind of other opposition attorney that would just love to get the fact to just call Trump's administration out for this epic failure. I kind of think that they might be getting getting told not to do this, because if you're thinking, like, fame and stuff for, like, centuries, dude, what better way to, break it to the American people by, like, having them in court and just, like, openly showing that they're lying to us in real time.
Can I add more fuel to the fire? So the Pentagon is now considering a new recruiting campaign for the military, which honors Charlie Kirk, using Turning Point USA as recruitment hubs and slogans such as "Charlie has awakened a generation of warriors." So, wow.
Sweet, we get to go die in Iran now.
For Charlie, do it for Charlie.
Yeah, do it for Charlie. But guys, hold on. So here's my question. I think I'm gonna be very cognizant of how I say this. I think that this was intended to awaken a revolution or a change or warriors or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Sorry for the cursing. Whatever you want to call it. I think this was intended to wake people. I think this was intended to have people moving to a specific narrative. Has it done it though? Because to me, I don't know. Go on Instagram. Go on TikTok. Go on here. The degree of Charlie Kirk's story and assassination just getting ripped to shreds has, I think, woken people up to the fact that we're being lied to. I'm going to say this, and this is a hot take. Hit the unfollow button. It's free if you don't like it. Why is Benjamin Netanyahu getting on social media 24/7 saying that they had nothing to do with it?
Because they did it.
Throwing it out there. Why is that being said consistently? It was 3 a.m. his time when Charlie Kirk died. He's in the 7th Front War. There's a lot going on. He's also got cancer. Let's not forget that. Why are you up at 3 a.m. and tweeting about this and then going on to public television and looking like a deer in the headlights, having this conversation, and then making your own social media posts on this and several times? It just doesn't smell right. Let's go to Justin, and then we can go to Unicorn or Uncommon. I keep calling you Unicorn. I'm sorry. Uncommon. I saw you on mic. Go ahead, and then we'll go to Justin.
Yeah, I was just going to echo your points. I think it's a good call out that, you know, typically we know the playbook for false flags in the United States. If you've been following history, it's you kill somebody, you blow up a building, you do something, you blame Muslim terrorists. Well, we've been through it so long now that people are starting to smell it, and they're like, yeah, it's probably not this, right? I mean, you can only do it. Robert Kennedy supposedly assassinated by a mad Palestinian. 9/11 obviously supposedly done by Muslims in caves, and whatever. You go through the whole thing. Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, obviously a lie. So I think I think you're right that the plan was to do it, and it's worked so well that they went back to that well again, and it's blowing up in their face because everybody's like, no, this isn't right. You know, it doesn't smell right. It doesn't look right. We're being lied to. And obviously it doesn't help that they're literally covering up the Epstein files right in front of our faces, which clearly he has ties to foreign intelligence. It doesn't look like he was working on behalf of America. So, you know, you put it all together, and it kind of comes. I've actually been pleasantly surprised. I feel like more people, which I would consider like normie right, are like, yeah, man, I don't buy it. They're not buying any of it, which it is a little bit surprising to me. I feel like, you know, and you can't say we have direct evidence that Israel was involved, but we know this is what they specialize in. We know that they were involved in a lot of things. They have like literally a broken down assassination page on Wikipedia by decades. So it's like, and it's not to say that our government's not involved. Those things are kind of hand in hand to a certain degree. So, but yeah, I think it's a good take, and I think it's probably spot on.
I agree.
Also, a little bit more breaking news, then we'll get back to it. Trump is now looking to get back into Afghanistan to take back Bagram because he thinks that will help him get a foothold on China. So start looking for the Charlie Kirk recruitment campaign to send your sons to Afghanistan again.
Nope.
Oh, God. All right, guys, I'm running to the school to get the kids. I need 30 minutes, and I'll be back because I always lose service at the school. Sarah Santino, Maze, Rance, like you guys are all, Blue, you guys are all honorary co-hosts. I know we've kept Justin waiting for a little bit. I wanted to welcome Lene. Maze says you're awesome, and anybody that likes Maze and Maze likes, I like too, so welcome. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I kind of looked at this thing from the get-go, and I knew it wasn't going to be well received because I jumped the gun. But you had posted that tidbit about that little drone the size of a tennis ball that can fly pretty much unmanned, biometric data, all that thing glocking on your eyes. This was weeks before Charlie Kirk even had the issue. So when I look at the whole deal, at best, that the guy that they arrested on the roof, at best, he may have been the one to launch the drone, but it was driven by probably a van parked off the premises. They can operate it. They don't even need to be in the vicinity of the crime scene. These drones, they're called Kamikaze drones. They deliver one shot, one kill. They lock in, they shoot the target, they fly off, they self-destruct, so there's no evidence of a weapon or a bullet or a shell casing. Furthermore, the software that's used in these particular drones, Palantir develops it. That's all I wanted to say. I mean, we can drive ourselves crazy all day. I know who did the shit, it's obvious. And I'll bow out.
No, you're right. I've seen it.
So that's the thing, right? They can't find a bullet, and that's what everybody's talking about. I just feel like the video that you showed, Blake, it blew my mind. It immediately made me think of what Justin's talking about. And Dee posted about it when you said it was like, I think last week or 2 weeks before. Before he was assassinated. That's just crazy.
I'll put a couple things in the pill and tag you guys. I've been putting this shit in people's pills and posting it for weeks. No one will touch it. You know, and I know why they won't, but I'm going to post it again. Fuck it. It's just basic information. They can kiss my ass.
That's exactly, I'm telling you, that's exactly my exact sentiment. That's what people are like, oh my God, are you scared? I'm like, scared of fucking what? Like, this shit's right here in front of everyone's faces. Like, it's not like I'm like doing anything. I'm watching the shit on the internet and pointing out shit that they were sloppy. Okay? So, I mean, like, my God. Yeah, they can kiss my ass too. I'm with you, brother.
Isn't that video of the Kamikaze drone thing, like I know Ryan posted it, I've been seeing it circulate. Isn't that from a movie though? That's not like a real Palantir press conference or something.
Is it from a movie? I don't know.
No, that actually is a real, that was a real...
That technology exists.
If it was a real press conference, then how come...
That was like a press release for them doing like their advertisement back in like 2008. That video's been out for a minute, like a long
So imagine what they got now. Imagine what they have now if that shit was 2008. They got shit the size of a dragonfly will creep up in your palace and murk you like you're a prince in silence of night and fly the fuck off. They do that shit. They've done it. They've killed leaders of countries with this shit.
Yeah.
And we're over here tickling our fucking ass cracks trying to question what the fuck happened. They drone hit his ass. Straight up. I want to know if his wife has an insurance policy out on his life. I want to know why she's suing Fox for $40 fucking million. All right? This shit is a fucking gay-ass soap opera.
Where's the suit stuff?
How
Where's
do you
that
really
detail?
feel, bro?
Is that something that's recent?
Just really quickly, David, are you sure that that's a part of the movie?
I had posted that clip like 6 months ago, and I got like a shit ton of pushback of people that said it was in a movie. Somebody linked it. I'm looking for the post now, like for the responses, but I can't find them.
I'm looking for the original YouTube video of it because it literally came out like, I want to say 2008, 2011 timeframe. And,
yeah, I mean, if Palantir put that, I mean, so for sure it's, I mean, you know, as a person that makes propaganda and I do video stuff, I've done documentaries and whatnot, when you look at the sequence, right, it's first him on the stage, and then as he throws it, it cuts to a camera behind him, lots of like lens flare with all of the lighting, but when it cuts back, you can clearly see that there is no camera behind him. So that was at least staged. It was staged and filmed. It's not like a clip from like a actual on-stage press conference thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be in that audience. I mean, that was kind of...
It was definitely a scripted video for like...
Right, it could be a scripted video that they filmed and released.
I'm looking for the full YouTube video because it actually goes into like their whole thing where like terrorists can get it, right? And they can like put them in storage containers and they can release them out into the millions just by driving one truck into the city, right? And then they showed like Facebook back in the day, and they were like, we can just pull up people on Facebook and pull all the views off of Facebook of political or religious ideologies, and then we can swarm colleges. That's what the end of that video is, and it's missing that entire section of it going back and forth between like that stage presentation and their like real life. It's like an action film, dude. It's commercial for these drones, and
and it was for a defense department. I named it earlier. I looked it up, but it's not Palantir that built it. It was Aero Aviations, and they're in defense contracts with Lockheed Martin, and they've been doing this for a minute now. I'm looking for the YouTube video right now.
If it's still there, you can look on Palantir too. And I think we should just get ahead of that because you know that's coming next, right? Sorry guys, I'm a stairmaster.
Hey, did y'all know who Frank Turek is? Frank Turek, he was a very good friend of Charlie's. And Frank was literally in the front row next to the guy that we all saw wearing the tan military outfit going ching-ching on his arm. He was standing right behind him. He also has told us on video footage, which I'll put in the pill, that he actually jumped in the car with Charlie to the hospital. He was over him. And I mean, his testimony is of him crying. It seems very legit, but I think we should try to get an interview with him somewhere because
he's my pastor. He's one of my pastor's good friends.
He was in the car. Like, he would be able to share, like, because I really believe that from the footage I put in the purple bubble and tried to put up, it's interesting that this whole room went on blink once I put that in the upper nest. Sorry, I haven't slept in days. I'm a little...
Krista, we actually removed all the posts at the nest because it was making the space glitch.
Yep. No. And I believe the one that I put up there definitely helped it. Because this guy is definitely agreeing with the whole storyline in here that the FBI is lying to us 100%, but he's actually showing unbelievable receipts. It was disappointing. I love Ryan. I love him. He and I have worked on child trafficking together. I love that guy. But when he just ransacked me, that bummed me out because this military guy from the Marines, he's a sniper. He's done training for over 5 years. I trust him over what Ryan knows about bullet. Sorry, I just do. So I really do hope you all will go watch it. I don't care about the reposts on my part. I just care that people see the truth. And then I think we should really look at this Turk guy, try to get him on to talk after the, service on Sunday and get him in to really speak. I mean, he was in the car with Charlie and literally.
I'll see if I can get him, if I can speak to my pastor and see if I can get in contact with him. He's come to our church a ton of times and spoken with us and stuff. So
he seems
I'll see if there's any way I can get.
So Krista, one second.
Thanks.
So Krista, 1 second. I want the way Lune has been waiting a long time, and I just want to get to the hand. So Lune, go ahead, and then we're going to go to Uncommon. From Uncommon, we're going to go circle back to Justin, and we're going to have a new speaker. I hate Israel. Go ahead, Lune.
Okay, hey guys. I'm just gonna be quick. I have to go get my son too, so I'm probably gonna lose service. But I was just speaking to Maze, and I mentioned to her that what if they're trying to make it so that there is no evidence? What if there really is no evidence on this guy and he's really not the person? And that's the plan. The whole plan is to speak with Dee Dee, like how she mentioned. Everyone's really rooting themselves on a side, and then if it appears or if it comes out that there is no evidence to really arrest this guy, you're going to have one side cheering for the fact that he's not arrested, and then you're going to have the other side cheering that he's not cheering, but freaking out that he's not arrested. And so, that would just create utter chaos, in my opinion. What if that's the whole point?
Lune, I want to ask you a question. What is your opinion of the fact that on the 11th, BB came out with a clip pushing back that everybody thinks that it was Israel had something to do with it, and then last night he did the same thing. I want your thoughts on that, and he's actually thinking it's all conspiracy.
What do you mean? What are my thoughts on BB?
Yes. Why is he pushing back? Do you think he looks much more guilty? Like, why is he even bothering saying anything? Why even bother?
I don't know why he bothered to say anything to begin with, besides, when people talk too much, sometimes they kind of reveal guilt. But on top of it, probably trying to pass a narrative right away that since Charlie Kirk was dead, since his passing, it was just an opportunity for him to pass a narrative. But besides that, I don't know, from an unbiased opinion, maybe it's because there's those theories out to begin with that he was behind it. Maybe the media was trying to make it so that he could clear his name, but in reality it just makes him more guilty, because why would he care to clear his name? He's a leader of a nation. It's odd.
Yeah, thank you, because he's speaking for Israel as a whole last week, actually, and the next day is kind of too close for comfort. I believe timing is everything. Go ahead, Maze, and then we're going to continue with hands.
course, you come to me right in the middle of writing a message, but it's okay. Well, it was kind of going off of what Lene said. That's always been the case, right? Like they create these very polarized sides, and what it does is it literally takes the united, let's just say, American people who would be able to kind of, I don't know, take our country back, and it pits us against each other. So we're constantly in this emotional turmoil, and we get lost. Like there's so many things that are passing right now that I think it behooves us to know whether or not it's actual legislation or whether it's been introduced, or even the stuff that they're doing. They're changing the guidance on specific operations and strategies. And so with our regulatory agencies kind of creating target cards for people to get further surveilled based on speech, like all this shit's happening right now. And it's because we get so, like, I don't give a fuck how somebody reacts to his death. I thought it was tragic, and that's just my stance on it. Other people are going to do whatever they want. I'm not going to sit here and spend fucking a week goddamn screaming at the people who...
Well, wait. You got to do it for a month, because Congress just ruled that October 14th will be National Remember Charlie Kirk Day. So we get to do this for another month.
Oh, yeah, see? And that's what I'm saying. It just takes our ability to sidestep that trap, right? Just be conscious of it, sidestep it. Any social currency we give it, attention we give it, is rewarding it, because they get the impressions, they're going to keep on doing it. I just don't even pay attention to that shit. Like, fuck it. They cry, they don't. I don't give a fuck. Like, let's just keep moving, and let's keep our eyes peeled, because they're coming for our speech. And I don't know if it's a coincidence, although I don't believe in those. But what did Charlie Kirk's shirt fucking say when he was assassinated in front of the people? Where was he shot? In the fucking throat. Okay, that is how we talk. And look at what his shirt said. I'm just saying, let's keep our eyes peeled.
Thank you so much. Uncommon, your mic, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the gentleman that was talking about the possible drone. And I wanted to kind of bring up, in the 70s, during different interrogations of the CIA and different weapons, it was released that the CIA had a heart attack gun, which they could make it look like you died from a heart attack. And obviously that's not used here. But my point is that for a long time, there have been a lot of very interesting and unconventional weapons. Clearly, there are insane, interesting and unconventional weapons that can be used right now. That are way beyond probably most of us would know, because unless you're high up and have military clearance and blah, blah, blah. So, but I would caution people from jumping too much to those conclusions. One, because it can kind of kookify things, like when people say, oh, the 9/11 towers were vaporized by laser beams or whatever. Lots of weird stuff starts to go out there, and you have to be careful from that. But also because in order to run a successful operation, they have to make it look like a traditional shot. They have to make it look like it was that kid. That doesn't mean it wasn't a drone that sounded like that. Obviously, I don't know. But they do have to make it look like that, or it did sound like a conventional weapon one way or the other. So it is something to consider. And then the last thing I want to point out is obviously the way he died. I don't think it was some kid who apparently had no political footprint who made an awesome 200-yard shot or whatever. People go back and forth. It's kind of like the Lee Harvey Oswald thing. But it clearly was a one-shot kill. It was a good shot. Potentially it was from distance. Some people say it's closer, but it was a one-shot kill. And it was done in a way publicly for a purpose. And obviously, I think that purpose is to silence, obviously he turned down $150 million from Netanyahu. That doesn't prove that Israel did it, but clearly it's something. I mean, who else has giant motive here? And the way he was killed, I think, was to send a message. I don't think it was because some guy who's born in a normal house all of a sudden becomes I don't even really know what the story is, because it's changed so much, whatever the fake story is they're trying to tell this kid. But he was killed a certain way to send a message. And I think that message is to silence criticism or the people that are going to turn away from, refusing that money. But that's just my opinion. I got to jump. But good space. Thanks for letting me talk.
Thank you so much.
I gotta take that off. So I've been streaming this thing for like 3 hours, and my phone's fixing to die. I appreciate y'all that hung around with me. I stream these spaces just because not everybody has X, and I think the conversations that go on in these spaces are amazing, and there's just a wide variety of people that come into them, and they talk about all sides of the argument, shit that I never even thought about, and sometimes it changes my mind, and I like to open my mind. So that's why I stream. If we're still there, you want to sub. I'll probably be up in another space a little later on my way home, probably from work, around 5:30 or so. It's 3 o'clock now, so I'll be streaming again after a while, but I'm done for the moment. Later, guys.